Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 4 of the ReelTok podcast. Episode 4, it's me hosting Tyler. This time we've had George, Seth, and Cam give a run of it, and now here's my time to helm the ship. While I have all your attention, I'd appreciate it if you are listening to us on Spotify or Apple, or if you're on YouTube, hit us with a subscribe. And on Spotify and Apple, I'm obsessed with the idea of being ranked in like the top 200 movie podcasts. So if you could follow us, rate us 5 stars, leave us a review on Apple. That would help us out a ton. And then if you're on YouTube, give us a like and a comment. Let us know what you're thinking of the podcast. Give us some suggestions. And then also, if you're watching us on YouTube, you'll notice we have a nice new background. We have nice new logos on Spotify and Apple. We have a new little podcast art. So shout out to Adamson Visuals. He's been super helpful, made us such cool graphics. For any desired editing, motion graphics work, his links are in the description below of the podcast, no matter where you're watching it, at Adamson Visuals on all socials. Super awesome guy. We love all our new art. So definitely go check him out. Show him some love. But yeah, how are we doing? Episode 4, everyone. Right now, everyone knows I'm a huge football fan. And in London right now, actually, my 2 favorite teams, the Saints and Vikings, are playing. So being a professional, I'm not watching. Unlike Cam, you just saw him look up at his TV. He was checking the score of the game. I'm being a professional. I'm not watching during the game. But this is that's where my mind's a little bit right now. I got some football going on. But Cam, how are you doing? Big win yesterday for your school, Purdue. But you were at a pumpkin patch, right?
Go Boilers. I was at a pumpkin patch. I got to watch the end of the game. I'm good.
I seem so excited about that.
I had a good time at the pumpkin patch with my family, wife, kid, my niece. It was a good time. And then I came home and watched the end of the Purdue game. It was good. This week I started working out. I went 2 of 3 days, so not too bad. I think that's progress. It's better than 0 of 5. First day I woke up 5 a.m. Went to the gym. I didn't even make it to the gym, but they have a code. I didn't know the code, and so I went back to bed. Second day I woke up early, didn't go, and then Wednesday and Thursday I made it. Friday, Friday's Friday. I had to have an off day. And then obviously it's the weekend, can't go on the weekend. So that's where I'm at with the workout.
Just the list of excuses just kept
yeah. No, I give you props though, because as someone who's like, I'm just getting back into working out again, and for me, like, I'm so weak focused that if I like miss a Monday, Tuesday, my mind's so weak that I'll just be like, throw it away. We're starting again next week.
Like
so bravo for you of hitting the back end of the week. And that's brutal too. Like you went to. Yeah, if you went to the gym and the code didn't work, that's like the biggest punch in the gut because you had all the motivation and energy and went there.
It's a sign.
I never made it to the gym. I woke up like I was ready, and I remembered like, oh, we need a code, and I was like, I don't know the code, and then so I went back to bed. But Wednesday and Thursday I made it, and I'm still so sore. This shit sucks. I'm done with this. I'm already bigger than
New York, and let's shred like a chest day or something.
I'm already
I'll
bigger
come
than
as
you,
well.
George. You don't want that.
You too.
Yeah, I'll come as well. That's fine.
Seth, how have you been doing?
That's my week.
FIFA came out.
It did. I have been playing it. I always play it at the start of the year, and it's like most games. It gets boring after a few months. I can safely say I haven't used Ted Lasso once, and no one cares anymore. I've not heard anyone speak about him, but I don't know. Maybe some like Ted Lasso fans might be using him, but I've not seen him once. But no, it's been fun. I've enjoyed it. Pretty good week for me, all in all.
It's good. It's good. George, how about you? I'll be visiting George in November. Actually, I'll be going there for my sister's running the New York City Marathon. I'm gonna go support with the fam, and I'm gonna go meet up with George for a night. But yeah, how have you been? I've been seeing you've been in the gym, training to become Bane. You went to a premiere this week. All kinds of good things for George.
Yeah, it was work-wise slow, actually. In the grand scheme of my work, it was a bit boring, which was fine because all things considered, I had a rather busy week. I attended the Intergalactic premiere. So again, shout out Netflix for that invite, which was just a very well put together event. We'll talk about the movie a bit later. Friday, I went to the Killers concert. My favorite band, so I was obviously on cloud 9 for 2 straight hours, just having the time of my life.
George loves a concert, doesn't he?
He
loves a concert.
Me and my girl, we're big concert people. But yeah, it's a good week. you are coming to New York, and I'm very excited about that. I will come to the city or wherever you are, so we can get dinner, get drinks, or whatever.
Awesome.
But yeah, pretty good week.
Nice.
George loves a concert as much as he loves giving a 3.5 out of 5 on Letterboxd.
I saw someone comment that on one of your reviews.
Yeah,
those are
it wouldn't be a George review if it was a 3.5 out of 5 stars.
Yeah, that was like the Entergalactic, because you're at that premiere. We were all like, "Oh, how was it?" And you're like, "It was pretty good. 3.5 out of 5." I'm like, "Yep."
Listen, 3.5 out of 5 for me. It's like it's an above average movie, but like it's not quite. Like,
I rate a lot 3.5
tier. Like 4.5, 5. Like you're a great movie. You're a movie I could possibly see be nominated for an Oscar. A movie I'm going to rewatch. 3.5 is you're an above average movie that I'm most likely never going to rewatch, but I did enjoy you for what you were.
Yeah, I get that.
I'm looking at your spread right now. I gotta go.
No, I feel that my least reviewed score is a 1.5 star, because I feel like if something's below average, I usually give it like a 2. But then if something's if something's dog shit, I'll give it like a 1. But like 1.5, I can never figure out like what's a 1.5 star.
I think that's my least as well. Actually, 1.5. It's a bit of a weird one, isn't it?
Yeah,
I get that.
All right,
my most is a 0.5. That's what you meant.
Yeah, out here dishing out the worst scores ever.
Actually, though, my most is like by a wild amount is like a 4.5.
Mine's 4.
I have a pretty even spread if you look at mine, but 4.5 kind of peaks. I think that's maybe my 3.5 for George, but he's more on the top end. Obviously, has seen a lot more movies than me, but
I've given 100 more 3.5 ratings than any other rating.
Wow. Impressive.
That is impressive. I like it. That's impressive.
Speaking of rating and reviewing movies, though, what have we been watching this week? We've been watching the good stuff. Seth, how about you? Have you been watching any good movies this week?
I'm waiting for Cam to make like a black and white comment or something. I've watched some great movies this week. I think the 3 that like stood out. I watched that Athena that came out on Friday, I believe, the new French film. It was good. There wasn't like a lot of substance, but it was a visual spectacle. Enjoyed it. 3.5. I watched Annihilation because I'm going for all this. What, 3.5?
Yeah,
I'm not surprised. Yeah, I watched Annihilation, which again was good. Didn't love it as much as George, but 4 out of 5, solid film. Barry Lyndon, I rewatched. Perfectly executed film as far as I'm concerned. Easy 5 out of 5. And then I think that's like the notable ones. Anyway, oh wait, yeah, I watched. I'm Thinking of Ending Things, off George's recommendation, and I didn't really know what I watched. I just knew that I enjoyed it. 4 out of 5. So much room for interpretation. Weird, wacky. Tony Collette's in it, which always adds a half a star at least. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I've watched some pretty good films this week.
Nice, good stuff. Yeah, this week I watched There Will Be Blood. Love that film.
You've been on a Daniel Day-Lewis kick.
No, that started it.
Phantom Thread as well.
Yeah, I went into Phantom Thread after that, and I went into Lincoln. None of either of those two held a candle to There Will Be Blood, but always great performances from him for sure.
What did you give Phantom Thread? I haven't seen it yet.
I think at 8.4 out of 10. It was it's a Paul Thomas Anderson film, so it's got his kind of style. So if you're not a huge fan of him, you probably not.
No, I like his.
It's a romance drama. I thought it was pretty solid. Great performances. Been watching. Have any of you been watching The Patient on Hulu with Steve Carell and Domhnall Gleeson? It's good. My girlfriend and I are really into it. And Seth, so I always get roasted for how I pronounce this dude's name. So Domhnall Gleeson, it's Domnhall, and it's an Irish name. And everyone's like, "Oh, it's a very common name in Ireland." I don't know if you know because you're close.
I'm from England.
Yeah,
it's close enough.
It's like we know how to say things in Canada.
Same thing.
No, it's not. There's some Irish names that are really hard to pronounce. Traditional Irish names. I've got no idea. No question.
Okay, well, I'm gonna stick with Domhnall Gleeson. But speaking of England, been hammering Great British Baking Show. Absolutely, I think it's called the Great British Bake Off there, or that.
Only like 40-year-old mums watch that here. Do you know what? I have watched an episode of it. It is quite entertaining. I get it.
Well, it's just a warm hug of a show because you see like the most wholesome people baking goods, and they made a kids version, which my girlfriend and I have been watching, and that's just savage because 10-year-olds baking things in the kitchen who have no business. Like it is so chaotic, and some of the kids just should not be there. But that's what I've been watching. Very wholesome.
What did you rate it? What did you rate it out of 5?
I mean, it's like a reality show. I'm not gonna like rate a reality show, but it's when it comes on, I'm immediately watching the new seasons. Like we wait, every episode comes out on Friday on Netflix, and because it comes out episodically, which is weird because Netflix rarely does that. But yeah, I love that show. I'd give it
not to like turn this into a conversation. I just wanted to ask you: do any of you actually rate shows? I've never rated a show. It's too many episodes, too many seasons. Way
one
too
episode
hot.
could be like a 5, and the next could be like a 3.
Like a
Everyone
9.
always asks like. Sometimes, like when I did like a Star Wars rating a long while back with all the shows and stuff, and I just like put them in where I think they'd be, but like didn't give a rating, and people were like, "What would you rate that?" And I'm like, I don't know. Like,
it's too hard. It's too hard.
I agree.
There's that serialized app that everyone keeps telling us to download, which is just not.
Is it Letterboxd for like shows?
Letterboxd,
pretty much, yeah.
Shows. It's just
interesting.
I don't know why they're not combined.
It's too hard.
It's too much.
Why doesn't?
I mean, you have
TV
shows on Letterboxd, don't you?
The limited series.
Limited series.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah. So sometimes like limited series, especially MCU ones, I'll rate just because I like to have my MCU stack ranking. And then Black Mirror you can rate pretty easily because you rate them as individual episodes. But yeah, other than that,
I've rated a few limited. I've rated a few limited series. Yeah, so maybe.
Yeah, but yeah, speaking of limited series, Haunting Hill House is definitely my favorite along with George. And I saw you retweeted that greatest jump scare, or like you said, one of the greatest episodes of all time. I levitated when that scene happened.
Amazing.
Tell you a story. So I was when I started watching Hill House, I was in the library and I was studying for an exam or something, and I was in the library for like 5 hours, and it got to a point where I was like, I don't want to study right now. Let me kill an episode of Hill House. So I'm sitting in the library around a million people, and I'm locked in. I'm like this close to my screen. That jump scare came out. I legitimately backed up, and people started staring at me, thinking I just was like possessed or something. Oh my God, that jump scare! I can't wait for like it is Haunting of Hill House rewatch season. I might start that tonight.
I think I might start that this month sometime. I don't watch shows, but that's an exception. It's amazing.
It's so good.
So
good. It's one of the most well-written shows I've ever seen. Well acted. Every character is taken care of beautifully.
Yeah,
I might hang up this call and just go watch it right now.
I watched that when it originally came out. My friend in college was like, right when I was graduating college, told me about it, and he's like, you have to watch this. So I was back home with my buddy, and we started it at like 8 p.m. one night, watched the entire series all the way through the morning. So we finished up at like 6 a.m. And when that jump scare came on, it was probably 4 a.m. in his house. His brother was sleeping, and I screamed right away. And I look at my friend, I'm like, how did you not scream? And then like 3 seconds later, he screams. Like he was like shocked and then yelled. I was like, man, that was like an impressive jump scare.
Such a good jump scare.
Yeah, so good.
Wait, Seth, you've never seen it at all?
No, I've seen it.
Oh, you have seen it? Okay.
No,
have you seen it yet?
It's amazing.
Even I've watched it. Yeah, but
okay.
I'm like shocked you got. So I haven't seen a ton of limited series. I've never seen like Chernobyl, which I hear is great. I don't even know what to think of like off the top of my head. I haven't seen a ton, so I'm like shocked. Band of Brothers, I've seen episodes, but couldn't really get into it.
Oh, right.
I don't know. I'm shocked you guys put it out at 1. I think it's great, but when I was watching it, my wife had watched it first and then was like, hey, you got to watch this. It's great. And I thought it was great, but like best of all time.
But you're not a horror like enthusiast.
Yeah, I mean, I no, but that jump scare like literally shook me to my core. There's also another one, not in that episode. I think it's the final episode or like right at the end of the second to last episode where they're in the house and then there's like a man that like pops behind them when they like go back to her. That one got me, I think, just as much, but that one's more like just easy jump scares, and I'll get scared by any jump scare.
Hill House, and I mean, we'll save this conversation for later, Seth. But like, the reason why I loved Smile is why I loved Hill House, because it was such a cool little combo of like psychological horror and jump scare horror.
Yeah, I get it. I think I want to go and watch it now. I might go with you, George. I think I'm going to start. Hill House for me is probably the number 1 limited series, but I haven't seen that many, so who knows? But I thought it was great. It is that good.
Awesome. Well, speaking of horror, George, you've been rewatching the Halloween movies this week?
Yeah, I mean it's spooky. It's spooky season, you know, and it's awesome. And yeah, I watched the original John Carpenter Halloween, and then I watched the 2018 remake, which I wholeheartedly believe should be the only 2 Halloween movies we have. We don't need this overrated, saturated franchise. But yeah, it's there's going to be a lot of horror watches from now until Halloween, and
I'm doing the same.
I guess the OG slasher film is what I wanted to check off my list. And then I watched Into the Spider-Verse last night. Just like I texted you guys, like every so often I just get such a craving to just watch a movie for some reason.
I know exactly what you mean. Like the other day, I had such a craving to watch The Thing.
Yeah, like
it's really weird.
And
I do it all the time.
I don't get it. Like if all day I was like, I really just I want to watch Spider-Verse. I want to watch Spider-Verse, and that's just what I watched. Like I wanted to watch Athena, just to check off another new release off my list. But I was in bed. I was like, you know what? I'm watching Spider-Verse. It's what I've been wanting to watch all day, and that movie is so fucking amazing. It's unbelievable.
It is amazing.
It is so good.
George, what did you say in your review of Into the Spider-Verse again that you thought might get people riled up?
I said that Into the Spider-Verse is just a million times better than Spider-Man No Way Home.
I don't think that's an argument that should be had. Like I think it's so.
I mean, there are people that for sure think No Way Home is a better film, which I respect. I respect all opinions.
But
you
don't.
No, you don't.
I respect everyone's opinion, every single person's.
Well,
yeah.
With those rewatches of the Halloweens, you brought up a good point. It is spooky season. It is October 3rd when you're listening to this. What kind of movies do you all like to watch during Halloween? Because obviously Cam and I are big horror guys. I love Harry Potter rewatches during Halloween. Even Christmas is a good rewatch. But Harry Potter, I'll probably give that series a rewatch. I know George just did that. But George, Seth, Cam, what movies do you like to watch leading up to Halloween? Spooky season is here. What are you watching?
Honestly, just horror is as simple as it is. I think I'm going to try and go through this month a lot of the. So on Letterboxd, obviously you've got the list. You've got the top 250 horrors. I've actually only seen I think 60 or 70 of them, which surprised me massively. But obviously a lot of them are a lot older films. So I'm going to try and go through them. I think this month and just get as many of them ticked off. But I kind of get Harry Potter. I kind of get that. That makes sense to be fair. I'm assuming George is probably watching just horror franchise over and over again.
Yeah, have I been sitting in the dark this whole time?
I haven't noticed.
Sorry.
You're just looking very ominous. It's Halloween.
Mysterious.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm on the same boat as you, honestly, Seth. I want to try to take off as many horror movies off my watch list. I'm sitting at 196 watched horror movies on Netflix. I'm trying to I posted my top 10 slasher films of all time. And people just kept commenting movies to watch and add to my watch list.
So many. Yeah.
So I've been adding a million horror movies to my watch list. I want to check off just as many of those as possible, but I'm gonna rewatch as many classics as possible.
Watch the one that I watched today. That'll
Which one did you watch today?
It was called The Freaks. It was 1932. Do you know what though? It is quite creepy and scary in a way. I think you'll like it. It's really weird.
Okay, The Freaks.
It's worth a try. It wasn't amazing. It's worth a try.
Cam probably heard 1932 and just lost it.
Seth's favorite thing, alongside George giving a 3.5, is watching a movie. Is watching a movie from the 1200s that doesn't have any dialogue, but it's in French monologue.
I mean, that's just incorrect. I haven't even watched that many old
Black
films.
and white, but you can't see anything. He's like, man, this cinematography is masterful.
Black and white basic films, though. I'm not some
that's your favorite.
So many old films.
I don't watch shit during Halloween, man. This month stinks. This month stinks. No, I'm kidding.
What's funny? Just sorry to cut you off, Ken.
You're good.
As much as I love horror movies, I hate Halloween. I hate dressing up. I hate Halloween parties. I hate Halloween so much.
I love Halloween parties.
I feel like you're just a festive guy in general, Cam, to be honest. I love
holiday season. It's great.
I don't care.
Lots of traditions. But Halloween parties are the best. You just get a fun little outfit. I never go too hard though. I go a very basic outfit, but they're the best. I don't know. I'll probably watch Halloween Town or something from my childhood that I absolutely love.
I respect that. That's a good movie.
I probably haven't seen that movie in a long while. I used to really like Halloween movies, and my mom's favorite holiday is Halloween, but I don't know. I feel like this. Sorry,
Did you get your kid a costume?
I mean, it's fucking the 3rd, man. We will eventually, probably, but
What's the plan, Baby Yoda,
days.
or what are you going for?
Wow, Baby Yoda would be so elite.
My wife's pretty proud of this. She wants, since we just had a kid, she wants me to go as young gravy, and then she could just be a MILF. That's what she wants. I hope it's okay that I said that on. But also we might, I don't know, we might dress like my son up as a dog, or as our dog Izzy, and then dress Izzy up as our son. I don't know. We'll figure it out. It won't be Baby Yoda, as she is not a Star Wars fan, and I've kind of been vetoed. But we did just buy him so he got a gray bear suit and also like a brown bear suit. And so he looks like an Ewok, and I love it. So that I like that. So
I like it.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, it is spooky season. It is October, and one of the more anticipated horror films of the year has released, and we have two polarizing opinions on this. So Smile came out. A lot of people were looking forward to it. It had the viral marketing campaign that everyone saw behind baseball stadiums, where there were just people smiling into the cameras. But Seth, I'll give you the ball first, because Cam and I were too scared to see this. Cam and I will be back when we talk about Hocus Pocus 2. That's about the level of horror that Cam and I want to go into. But for Smile, Seth, take it away.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, like, a lot of people didn't like my opinion on this film, and first of all, I do want to say that I do get why people like this or liked this. I do kind of understand it. I just think for me there was a lot that I didn't like, and I can compare it to a lot of films as we've spoke about before. But the main thing for me, that it is a self-aware horror. It knows it's not a great film. There is some good shots, there's some effective jump scares, but for me, I never felt unsettled or scared at any point. And that's not me saying that, I don't get scared of horror films, because I've got scared of plenty of horror films. But those sort of run of the bow, just very basic narrative. George didn't agree with me on this, but pretty bad performances in my eyes throughout a lot of the cast, apart from what was it, Susie Bacon? Is that her name?
Yeah.
She was pretty good. Yeah, she was fine. And I just think that for me, the kind of the basic horror with the simple narrative, a few effective jump scares there now and then, but it just came across as very unoriginal. I don't really like that style of film. I don't really like how they try to play it off a lot of the times, like going detective throughout it. If they've just stuck to maybe just the horror principles and it just be a jump scare fest, then I would have been like, okay, fair enough. But I think they tried to do more with it than they could, and I think I was disappointed because the trailer looked scary, like it looked creepy. It looked like it was something that was going to unsettle me, but for me, it just didn't have that impact, and I really just didn't like the film. But I mean, if you liked Malignant, I think you'll like this. Or It Follows, Malignant, they're the sort of films. George, I'm sure he'll agree. George really liked both those films. I didn't really like both of those films. It Follows was okay, actually, but yeah, I think if you like those films, you'll probably like this. If you don't like those films, you probably won't like this. It's just that style. But yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it.
George,
you're muted, by the way. He's muted. This guy.
That's my fault.
This guy.
I had to cough and I forgot to unmute myself.
You silly goose.
Yeah, I mean, I love that we have separate opinions. I think that makes this conversation significantly more interesting. But yeah, all the reasons why Seth didn't like this movie are all the reasons why I love this movie, or I wouldn't say loved. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I think it was a very well executed horror movie, but I also do love It Follows. I love Malignant so much, especially It Follows. That lands very high on my all-time horror rank. So I'm a big fan of these corny, campy, very self-aware horror films because, like I mentioned in my TikTok review, the idea of a smile haunting you and possessing you and throwing you into a state of depression, it's an absurdly ridiculous concept, and this film did not take itself too seriously, because if it had tried to take itself too seriously, I think it would have fallen flat on its face. But I think they really nailed the appropriate combination of psychological horror and effective jump scares, because I think I'm in the same boat as you as jump scares. I think they can be cheap. I think they're very effective, but it's a cheap way of scaring someone. They were pretty few and far between in Smile, and they did a good job. And then that final like 25 minutes, I don't think I'm overselling it to say that that's just like some of the best horror I've ever seen. That whole sequence of events, and I'm not going to spoil it, of her going to her young house up until the end. I have not stopped thinking about the final shot in this movie. I know a lot of people are saying it's a ripoff of A24's Saint Maud, which I totally understand. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but they end pretty much the exact same way in like the last shot. I didn't think the acting performances were terrible. I think Susie Bacon, or whatever her name is, did a very good job as the lead.
You know, she's actually related to Kevin Bacon.
She's his daughter. Right?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
The only like genuinely questionable performance was her husband.
Did you not wait? Which was the fiance or the ex?
Yeah, the fiance. Sorry,
I thought I thought the ex was really bad.
Oh, really? I thought he was fine. I mean, he did. Listen, I don't think he didn't need to stress any actual acting talent.
Well, okay, so for those of you listening who didn't see on video, so Cam just joined our call twice. So there's two Cams, mirrored images. So we had two Cams in the call, and we all just got jump scared by Cam Walsh in the middle of his smile.
I'm sorry for the internet problem.
Can we not cut this part out?
No, we're not cutting this. We're keeping this.
That's amazing.
It's like a
jump scare.
To everyone listening, keep in mind this is episode 4, so we're still figuring shit out. So
I've turned off the football game. I turned off the Wi-Fi on my phone. I'm sorry.
I can't wait to rewatch that to see if that was amazing.
What the hell?
Right, anyways,
carry on, George. Sorry.
It just in conclusion, I think the fact that you don't love campy, corny horror is just the reason why you didn't love this movie. But I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum. I like that type of horror, and I'm also, as much as I love horror, I scare pretty easily still. So even though this wasn't, pulse level horror, I was still pretty frightened.
My question to you would be like, so I would differentiate being scared by a jump scare or being shocked than being actually scared, and this was the issue I had with it. Whereas, okay, the jump scares were jumpy at times and they were quite effective, which I don't think is particularly hard to do, as you say. It's quite cheap a lot of the time. But did you feel like I left the cinema theater, whatever? I left and I didn't really feel any type of being unsettled. The film didn't play on my mind at all. Like It Follows, for example. I didn't love It Follows because it is that kind of self-aware campy horror. But that had a really intriguing concept, and that actually left me feeling unsettled because it wasn't riddled with these generic jump scares, which I don't really value. Yeah. So my question to you is, did you feel unsettled after the film, like after the fact?
I mean, listen, Smile is not a movie I'm losing sleep over. I will say, I have not stopped thinking about that. I love, you haven't seen Watcher yet, but it's the same thing. The final shot of that movie, it's just something I haven't stopped thinking about. But no, from a psychological perspective, this is not a movie like Hereditary that's, gonna genuinely like fuck me up. Like it's just a very B tier, decently executed, self-aware horror film that I was not mad about watching. Like I was intrigued by what I was watching. I thought it was a decently compelling story about taking this ridiculously absurd concept and, dragging it across a 2-hour movie.
Yeah, I get it. Like I say, I completely understand why people would like this. It's just not for me. Especially, I think like if you like I said, if you like Malignant, you like It Follows, you will like this film. That's guaranteed. But if you don't, you're probably not going to like this film. It is very polarizing. But yeah, I did I say my score? I don't think I did. No. So I get a 1.5, which on reflection may be harsh. I'll be honest. Maybe it could be increased to a 2. And obviously, George gave it a 3.5. Yeah. 3.5. So yeah, we have very different views, but give it a watch. Let us know what you think. Yeah, like I said, it was okay.
My wife, she loves horror, so like that's why I've probably seen a lot of horror movies, and I text you guys all the time, like looking for a horror, and George always pulls like an A24 film out of his ass, and she doesn't like A24 because it's not like it's. I agree with her in the sense like a lot of A24 movies aren't like horror, and they're more like make you feel uncomfortable. That's why I think George like loves a movie that just makes you feel uncomfortable for 2 hours. But she like this is a kind of horror movie that she like would really like. I think a lot of jump scares, like I don't know if it's like possession or some sort of evil, whatever.
From what you're saying, I agree. I think
yeah.
she would
So
prefer this.
I unfortunately think I'll be seeing this one sometime soon. And
That's
I'll probably
unfortunate.
I'll probably think about it for forever. Like George, you said afterwards.
I don't think
didn't
you will.
think about it.
No, I think Cam would. I think
Dude,
Cam
I
would.
can't go downstairs at
Maybe.
night without seeing the fucking Nun
from
That was
2.
terrible,
Dude,
but that was
God, Jesus.
no, the Nun movie's terrible. I think Conjuring 2 is not horrible.
Cam,
but
when are you seeing Pray for the Devil?
never. Never. That might be one she wants to see too, so I might have to.
I will say it's funny that you brought up A24 horror because I have one draft in TikTok and that's my top 10 A24 horror.
Of course
films
it is, man.
that I'm probably gonna post today or tomorrow.
Of course it is. It's gonna be like X, Pearl,
You'll have to wait and
Lighthouse.
The Lighthouse is it.
see. So
All
good.
right,
So
All
good.
right.
We'll carry on anyway.
I won't guess George's entire list, but I'm sure I can. Hocus Pocus 2, Tyler.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so Smiles wrapped up, so 3.5 stars for George, 1.5 for Seth, but Hocus Pocus 2. I saw the original Hocus Pocus, way back in the day. It's 29 years old, for God's sake. So 29 years later, they've made a sequel to this. What are your thoughts, Cam?
I rewatched Hocus Pocus this week, and I do
Same.
think Hocus Pocus 2 is better. I have Hocus Pocus at a 43 and Hocus Pocus 2 at a 50. No, 54. Yeah. So I do think it's a little bit better, and that just comes from the fact I think they got better actors for these kids. Bette Midler, God, I can't even think of everyone who's playing these people, of who's playing the witches, but yeah, whatever. They're obviously fine. It's not a movie you need any acting chops really, but like the kids in the original Hocus Pocus kind of suck really badly. But it's a fun little like horror movie that if you see it as a kid, you'll probably like it in the future. I watched it as a kid and remember like being scared of it when I was 8, or when I was 6. I don't know. It came out in 1993, so maybe I saw it when I was 1, or when I was born. Who knows? But I remember liking it. It's fine. It's nothing special. Hocus Pocus 2. I'll let you give your thoughts, but I have a couple points that I wrote down of this movie.
Okay, well, I also I rewatched Hocus Pocus this week, but I hadn't seen it since I was like 8 or whatever when it was on Disney Channel. Surprising amount of virgin jokes, like an unbelievable amount of virgin jokes for a Disney movie. Because because that's kind of the lore and how this movie works is that like you have to be a virgin to activate the spell. So like in Hocus Pocus 2, they couldn't just go away from that, but they like brought it up but didn't really make fun of it. But in the original Hocus Pocus, they were like, yeah, this is all happening because this guy's a virgin. I'm like, this is a Disney movie. It's just kind of bizarre.
He's also like, he's what, 17 maybe? Like 16?
If even. I think, yeah, he's like a freshman in high school. And they're like, yeah, this guy's a virgin. Now there's witches in our town. I was like, Disney, chill.
Yeah.
But you said the acting performances were terrible in the original, which they were by definition, but it was
It's not something you need to.
No, but it's an early 90s movie.
Yeah.
So like an early 90s kids movies, that was just kind of the style where like the bullies are so over the top, like, give me your shoes, man.
Yeah.
And like it just kind of fit the style of the time. So I just felt the second one, like you mentioned this in last week or the week before's podcast, new movies are always better. Just kind of that blanket quote. Like obviously a movie 29 years later, so much of it's been improved since the original. But I just thought it was so unnecessary and it brought nothing new to the table. And you mentioned this last week too. 29 years later, like clearly that's a cash grab because after a whole birth to adulthood of someone's life, no one's asking for this sequel. They just needed a Halloween film for Disney and they just shat this out.
My favorite thing about the original Hocus Pocus, which like is not something they would do in Disney today, is they just the main characters just leave the bullies that were bullying them at the start of the movie in the cages for the witches to like eat. Yeah. And now Disney would be like, oh, you got to save them as well. No, they just fucking left them. Just said, yeah, you guys were mean. You're dead. Have fun.
Just quickly on that was so funny too because it was like the credits cut for the original and then like they do a post-credit scene showing like, oh, by the way, they left these bullies to die.
Yeah,
and then
these guys are still hanging. No one's there. Like they're gonna die. Yeah. But Hocus Pocus 2. So it's a very classic. 3 friends. One friend has gotten popular and is dating the cool guy in school, and then I made notes of the time. So the cool friend is played by Lilia Buckingham, who actually I think was pretty good. Whitney Peak plays the main character. And then Belissa Escobida plays the like secondary friend. I sorry if I like wildly impronounce that, but the three friends, obviously one's cool now. So they don't call this third friend. It's an hour and a half movie. They don't call this friend until 48 minutes in. And then at that point, they have bad cell service. So their Wi-Fi, they can't see the friend. The friend hangs up. Then they don't actually meet this friend until an hour 2 in. And then they're already friends and made up by an hour 9. And so it's like, they just kind of like said, yeah, we're friends again, basically. And that was something I was so lost on because they didn't get, it's a kids Disney movie. So who cares? But it's just something I found during the movie. And I was like, what the hell? Where's this third friend at? And 48 minutes in, they finally are like, we should call her. She's throwing a party or whatever. Also, you don't see a lot of Walgreens product placement these days. And this movie revolves around Walgreens, which is just an out there product placement. Yeah. They like walk into it. And then a joke that actually really made me laugh was they at this Walgreens, they pick up brooms, right? To fly on their brooms. And one of the witches, Kathy Najimy's character, she flies on 2 Roombas. Because because
and then another one rode on a Swiffer wet jet too.
Oh,
there's so many an unbelievable amount of product placements in this movie.
No, but the Roombas I think were off brand because they did not look like Roombas, so they were just like implied to be Roombas. But that honestly that made me laugh a little just because.
Are these really the notes you took during the movie?
Yeah, no, that's all. Those are the 3 notes.
Your reviews are hilarious.
Exact quote. Big Walgreens product placement. In parentheses, don't see that too often. Joke about broom and Roombas. 3 friends, comma, 1 is cool, in parentheses, of course. They don't call up the third friend, comma, cool, comma, friend until 48 minutes. Then at 102, they finally meet. Then their friendship is resolved by 109. That's all I have. Those are the 3 notes I made.
That's the intellectual property of ReelTok podcast.
What were your scores again for the original and the second?
43 out of 100 for the original and a 54 out of 100.
Oh, so it's better.
Yeah, no, I do think it's better, but it's the same. It's also the same exact thing, by the way.
Yeah,
it's a remake, and not enough Hannah Waddingham.
And I didn't see Hocus Pocus 2, so I'm not commenting on that. But speaking of incredible child acting, the Black Phone, I just want to throw that out there because those kids were so fucking incredible in that movie. It actually genuinely blew me away.
Now that's a movie that, like, if it were bad kid acting, I'd be like, this sucks. But like in a Disney movie, I'm gonna be like,
both of them, both the brother and the sister in that movie were so goddamn good. I just could not believe
it. How old was the sister in the film as well? The actor,
she had to be like 8 or 9.
Yeah, she was great.
Yeah,
she was great. That was surprising.
But I think we're all wrapped up on Hocus Pocus 2. So Hocus Pocus 1, I gave a 4 out of 10. I gave the second one a 3.8 out of 10. So I knocked it down a bit because like the visuals and the camera work is better because it's 29 years later. But I don't know. There was just no need for this. It was the same thing, and just
she's 13.
Oh, okay,
nice. But let's jump into talking about Andor because I know George and Cam have been watching that. I still haven't dipped my toe in, even though Rogue One, I stake my claim, is my favorite and the best Star Wars film. So Cam, George, talk about Andor.
You take it, George.
I mean, I am surprised you haven't watched Andor, considering how much I know you love Rogue One. I mean, I want to keep this spoiler free. I don't know if you mind that, Cam. So it's just going to be quick thoughts. I'm really enjoying Andor. I absolutely, and I said this again. I'm pretty much just going to repeat what I said on the previous podcast. I love stepping away from the Skywalker saga. I love how raw this feels. We're seeing a dark and dirty side of the rebellion, and I think it just paves the way for a lot of good storytelling, the introduction of a lot of incredible characters. There have been polarizing reviews. If that's going to happen, I've seen people genuinely upset that there hasn't been a lightsaber battle yet, or that a Jedi hasn't fucking showed up. But if you take it at face value, which is a separated Star Wars story telling a different side of the rebellion, especially you, Tyler, if you love Rogue One, which I know you do, I think you're going to genuinely enjoy this show because I do think it has been a very well-crafted show so far.
Yeah.
Those...
Yeah, it's really good. And to your point, where would the Jedi be, man? There's no Jedi at this time.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
use your head, Star Wars fans. But
that doesn't
beside
happen.
the point. Beside the point. I do really enjoy the show. I echo basically everything George says. There are also there's not a lot of, hey, look, we're in there's a lot of Easter eggs in this show. Like, if you know Star Wars, you'll see them. Like, there's a lot of Rogue One Easter eggs. There's a lot. They mentioned Scarif, right? Is the planet that they're building the Death Star on. They're like, we're bringing a lot. Like, there's a lot. So you're getting it. It's fine. It's just not like, hey, look at Luke Skywalker shooting a lightsaber up his ass. Like, God, relax, people. And
this is coming from the biggest Star Wars fan ever.
Yeah, and I will say, like, I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and we talked about this also this week in the group chat. Star Wars fans are the worst. I'm probably one of them. I'm a horrible human as well. But like, Star Wars fans have actually bullied like 4 people out of acting. That's impressive, honestly.
Like children too.
Yeah, children. Who plays Jar Jar Binks? I can't think of his name. Ahmad Best like hasn't acted in a while. You're fucking lucky to get Hayden Christensen. I've been cussing a lot this episode. Sorry, everyone. You're lucky to get Hayden Christensen back in this series, and then everyone's bitching that he's not there. It's enough. Like, shut up. Tyler, you don't think Empire is a 4 out of 5? You suck.
4 out of 5. You knocked it down a peg. Okay.
5 out of 5. I'm the worst. They're the worst. Shut up, Star Wars fans. Shut up.
Dude,
Cam's wife in the other room, like, what the fuck is this guy talking about?
She'll be used to it by now anyway.
Gosh, probably. Man, she's never seen it. She's lucky.
Yeah, the kid who played Anakin in The Phantom Menace got bullied so much that he like went to a dark place. And I just like, obviously it's hard to tell what other people are dealing with mental health wise, bullying wise, but I just don't get it. Like, if you're in Star Wars Episode 1, how can a bully at school make fun of you and you not be like, I'm literally in Star Wars? Like, how are you? I can't understand it.
Have I said he was at school? Like, he went to the school my sister went to and was there when she was there, and my family's big Star Wars family. I don't know if I've said that. Like, he went to Carmel High School. My sister went there. Hopefully.
Did she bully him?
No, she loves Star Wars, and she said she tried to be friends with him. He was kind of an asshole, but she said he also got like the shit beat out of him with lightsabers like once a week. So it's kind of fair that he was an asshole, you know. Like people were that school. I didn't go there. It's like known for having very bad bullying. Like, you could probably Google it, and it's got like bullying. But sorry to the Carmel School District. But
I'm sure they're listening.
Yeah, of course, the superintendent right now is listening. But yeah, he went there and like. He was just like not a happy person, but he was getting bullied all the time, which I feel so bad for. If now it's cool to be a Star Wars fan, like in 2022, you're more weird if you're not watching Star Wars. But
that's true.
Obviously, what was that? Like maybe 2014 or something? I don't know. Just you're not apparently. So unfortunately,
it's an age thing, isn't it? It's a maturity thing. Like, if you watch Star Wars. If you're like a nerd geek like we are, let's be honest, if you're that at like early teens, people don't like that. That's just the thing, isn't it? It's just a maturity thing, really.
Yeah. That's it.
That's all I got. All the thoughts for Andor.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right. Sounds good. I'll throw a quick curveball into the outline here. So, Entergalactic. Who all here has seen that? Finished it?
I haven't watched it yet.
Okay.
I've watched an hour.
I'm at the same point as Cam, but I don't know if George, you wanted to give your quick thoughts on it since you were at the premiere, so kind of flex that and tell us what your overall thoughts were. And Cam, if you have anything, I know you're not done with that. I'm not done yet either, but I'm almost done.
Yeah, I'll flex the premiere as well. It was at the Paris Theater in New York. Pretty small premiere compared to these massive Marvel ones you see in LA, but just grateful that I was invited to a premiere. The premiere was cool. They put on a pretty nice event. Kid Cudi showed up. He gave like a little speech before the movie played. And then, hit Kid Cudi along with the director, and most of the cast was at the after party as well. So it was cool to like be in the same room as them. The movie itself is good. I gave it my classic 3.5 out of 5-star rating. I thought it was very above average film. I do enjoy that style of animation, and there is a lot of comparison to the Spider-Verse, which makes sense, but like you said, Tyler, the animation does feel very choppy, almost stop motion at points. And I do understand that critique, because even while I was watching the movie, I was like, this kind of looks a little like too cut up a little. But the movie it's nothing we haven't seen before. It's a classic love story, you know, love that shouldn't happen. They fall. There's the classic montage of them falling in love. You know, there's the downfall. There's them, not to spoil it, you know, rekindling their relationship, blah, blah, blah. But like I said in my TikTok review, I just think adding Kid Cudi's very psychedelic lens to it, adding this like hip hop background with these very cool, you know, shots of like the galaxy, just made for a very unique and creative telling of an otherwise decent story that we've seen a million times. So I thought 3.5 out of 5 stars was pretty fair. I didn't even rate this movie, and I'm going to vent a little bit, please. I didn't even rate this movie that highly. Even on my TikTok review, I mentioned, you know, it's something we've seen before, blah, blah, blah. I still get so many comments. Oh, you're just paid to make this review. And like that is just the most infuriating fucking comments ever. Because like, no, I've never once been paid to post a review. Like, God forbid even before I saw the movie with Victoria, I told Victoria, I was like, if I post a good review, people are going to comment telling me I got paid to post this review. And I didn't even post like that shining a review. Like Entergalactic is sitting at like the 35 spot of my ranking of 2022 movies. Like, it's not even that high. That's my event.
Top 35, you sell out.
What?
Top 35, you sell out. You
How dare I?
So far, I've been enjoying it so far. Not quite done with it yet, but I saw some TikToks, just not from Movie Talk, of people saying, because it was a movie that came out by Kid Cudi, but it also went in tandem with his album he released, which was the soundtrack of the movie. And I saw a lot of people on music TikTok, I have a lot of those on my For You page, saying like, oh, this new Kid Cudi album is trash. And I never listened to it. I don't really seek out his music, but watching the movie, I've been really enjoying the soundtrack and the music. And I think that's why it's just such a cool artistic vision of him taking this animated film and his album and blending them together. And maybe, who knows, if I listened to the album without the movie, maybe I would be like, now this is pretty mid. But watching it with the movie, I feel like it just adds so much to it. And it's overall just like such a cool thing that's just one human can do. It's just like, oh, I have this album, I'm gonna make a movie about it, animated movie, have a premiere. Like, that's just so cool that like one person's capable of doing that. It's sweet.
It's got pretty high praise so far, hasn't it? It's got like 3.9 on Letterboxd.
It's very, it's being very, in the grand scheme of ratings, I'm in the minority in rating it.
Yeah, exactly.
Than like a 4 out
but
of
you're
5.
the one who's being paid to review it. You're
exactly. Yeah. But to your point about the music, Tyler, I will say, and I do have so much Kid Cudi bias, because Man on the Moon 1 and 2 are just 2 of my all-time favorite. I fucking love those albums. Entergalactic, by Kid Cudi's standards, is a very experimental album. It's very LSD laced kind of compared to his, you know, typical OG rap. So I think a lot of people were just turned off by that, because obviously, you know, you have an artist that has just consistently been very good, and now he's dropping this experimental album. It's going to turn a lot of people off. So if you're not that big of a Kid Cudi fan, I think you're going to enjoy Entergalactic, the album. If you are a huge Kid Cudi fan, you might just take it personally. You know, it's like Star Wars with Star Wars movies. They just can't like any new project because it's not the originals.
Yeah, true. I said I'm an hour in, right? I don't like the animation, to be honest with you. And I sent the message. I was like, am I an idiot for not liking this animation? But as I've sat with it more, like I still don't like. It's so choppy, man. It looks like it is Into the Spider-Verse-esque, but it's so choppy and looks not fluid at all, like a stop motion movie almost. And it's really throwing me, honestly. But I like the movie otherwise. I still think it looks good. Like the shots are good. It's just like when it's just 2 people talking and they're walking like this, I'm like, stop. Yeah, it frustrates me a little, but it's okay.
I can be pretty picky with animation. That's why I brought up in the group chat. I don't know. Have any of you seen Flea, which was nominated for Best Animated Movie last year?
Is that the Middle Eastern animation?
Yes.
I haven't seen it, but yeah.
Okay, well, I'm on my own here, but I'll just go on my little totem pole here. But the story itself was so incredible, but the animation is so elementary, just similar. Even so, like I'd even call the animation worse than Entergalactic. That it's just like it's such a good story and so impactful and so heartfelt, but it's just not the best medium for me. Like, why are you going to take this like awesome, incredible story? Like, I feel like it would have been better for like a podcast, or I don't know, make a like, I don't know. It's just weird when they take such great stories and they just give such B-level, C-level animation to it, and then I'm just like,
it's just budgets, really, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I think that's how they wanted to make it, though. Like, I'm sure Kid Cudi had enough budget to make a more fluid. I think that's what they wanted. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be.
You said Flea was animated or nominated for Best Animated Picture?
Yes.
I think that's to the story. It's very highly rated.
And Best International.
Well, that's fine.
Film.
It's 29 minutes. That's not a movie.
No, it's like an hour and a half. That might be like a short film.
I'm gonna send you guys a picture. I'm an idiot. Oh my God, I wasn't reading. So an hour is on the top line, and then it cuts down to the next line, and it says 29 minutes.
God, Cam's the type of dude to see a 2-hour 1-minute movie and be like, "What's this movie in theaters 1 minute for?"
Dude, look at this picture I'm sending you guys. Sorry, this is bad podcasting, but maybe you can see it on the YouTube video. That's my bad, everyone. All right, back to. Sorry for derailing.
All right,
again.
Well, we'll end it there on Entergalactic. Let's transition here into the segment that George started last week. On this day in film history, so in 1961, The Dick Van Dyke Show, created by Carl Reiner, starring Dick Van Dyke and Mary Tyler Moore, premieres on CBS TV. Seth, familiar with that one?
No.
Dick Van Dyke Show?
No.
Another American staple. Speaking of Seth, though. The next one, 1995. Former NFL running back, Buffalo Bill, broadcaster, and actor O.J. Simpson was found not guilty of the murder of Nicole Simpson and Ron Goldman in Los Angeles, California.
Why is that speaking of Seth?
Well,
because he didn't know that O.J. was found not guilty
until
he saw the outline.
I
the glove don't fit.
Jesus.
If the glove don't
what does Seth have to do with someone's murder?
No, yeah.
But speak of Seth, honestly, I don't follow like a lot of like this sort of the. You know what? I probably did know, and then I probably just said it, but it's not.
I mean, it was also 1995. Like,
yeah, I probably did know. I just don't care.
It just goes to show how like different cultures can be, because I feel like everyone in America knows about that. And if you haven't seen The People vs. O.J. Simpson,
everyone here probably knows about that. I'm just probably being stupid. That's probably it.
Speaking of limited series, though, The People vs. O.J. Simpson, very good, very very well. Cuba Gooding Jr. plays O.J. Simpson. All his lawyers are played by a cast you would know, like John Travolta's in it. Rob Schwimmer's in it. David Schwimmer's in it. Great cast.
Ross.
Sarah Paulson, I believe, is that the girl from American Horror Story? She's
great.
Yeah, so
she's in a hell of a lot of things. She's amazing.
Yeah.
Did anyone watch Run? Anyone watch Run? I like that.
Run's all right. Run's pretty good. Run's
3.5 out of 5 stars.
Same.
4 out of 5 for me.
Oh.
All right, then 2004, the TV series Desperate Housewives, starring Terry Hatcher and an ensemble cast, premieres in the U.S. on ABC. Wow, Cam and George animated to that.
I have no points on that. I was just being a dick.
Oh no, I love Desperate. I've seen Desperate Housewives 2 times through. I don't care what anyone says. I think it's such a good show.
Yeesh. I have no idea.
Fair enough.
I just got excited. I thought Cam actually watched it.
You've upset him.
Cam just pulled the rug out of you. That was pretty
so
savage.
sad.
All right, then happy birthday to Alicia Vikander, and then also happy birthday to Tessa Thompson. And anyone want to say anything to any birthday wishes to Alicia Vikander or Tess Thompson?
Happy birthday if they're listening. Which
they're not listening.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
That's an Oscar winner right there.
Oh. Fair, but and then speaking of Tessa Thompson, Alicia Vikander, Oscar winner. Speaking of Tessa Thompson, we'll roll that right into MCU news.
Good transition.
I think we'll start off with Hugh Jackman. That's the big news. I mean, there's actually a lot of like things you could call the big news of the week for the MCU. But Hugh Jackman back in Deadpool 3. Got to be at the top of the list.
No.
And then we had John Krasinski quote tweeting it. And then people are like, oh, is that meaning he's coming back as Reed Richards? Or is that just for their upcoming comedy film with Ryan Reynolds and John Krasinski called Imaginary Friends, that he's kind of making a joke like, oh, is that our movie together? But all in all, ultimately, Hugh Jackman's back. Wild reveal. What are we thinking here? Cam's
that's a real animation.
Super amped. Are you concerned though?
No, who cares? Yeah, this is awesome, dude. It was good they made that video that like Logan's set in 2029 or whatever. So even if it's it's still even if it's not in that universe, it's still set before Logan. So great, awesome. It's most likely not in that universe. I've seen a lot of like people make the theory that like Kang is gonna rip Deadpool from this Fox universe and bring him into this universe, whatever. I don't even think it's gonna be that like connected to the MCU in any way. I think it may be at the end, I think a little bit connected to the MCU, but way back in the day they wanted the road trip. Or Ryan Reynolds wanted the road trip with Hugh Jackman, and that's just the movie. I'd be great with that. If they make it funny, it's going to be R, right? Before I say like it's going to be R. Okay. No, but I think like Kevin Feige said, it's like keeping it R, like when they first bought and announced Deadpool 3 would be coming out. There's no way they make it PG-13, but maybe they do. And then people will get super pissed off, but I think it's going to be R. It'll be funny. Hugh Jackman, obviously, like very good friends with Ryan Reynolds. Like they're always taking pictures, busting balls on the internet. They're obviously very good friends. You'll get good chemistry. Fuck yeah. Just give me some. Inject that in my veins.
There you go. Well, a lot of people's theories on Deadpool 3, and I think because everyone has their ideas, and they did that lip sync video where they're not actually talking. People are like, oh, what are they actually saying? Which obviously, is just a bunch of nonsense. But people were theorizing maybe they're going to somehow kill the Fox universe and then build it into the MCU. But if it is set before Logan in 2029, I don't really know how that would make sense for them to kill the whole Fox universe in Deadpool 3 and then have Logan still happen after the fact. But I don't know. George, you excited?
Listen, I'm as excited as Cam is. When this news dropped, I literally left my gym and I was only there for like 15 minutes. I legitimately left the gym to go to my car and post a video expressing my excitement. So I am excited because I think Hugh Jackman as Wolverine is the best casting. I take him above Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. I take him above Heath Ledger as the Joker. I think he is the best comic book casting out there.
That's a big statement.
That is a big statement. That is a big statement.
Well, casting's different than
no. I don't think it's a better performance. I think it is a better casting, not a better performance. Never said that.
Okay.
Don't put words in my mouth. But yeah, I still have questions about the timeline because, like you said, if they are going the Kang route where Kang comes in, destroys the Foxverse, then how does Logan happen? Stuff like that. So there's a lot of questions. But I think my level of excitement just outweighs my skeptical nature. I expect Hugh Jackman in Deadpool 3 for less than 10 minutes. I don't by any means think he is going to be the second main character. I think it is going to be a 2-scene cameo. And if they do go the Kang route, we're 100% watching Wolverine die again. There's no doubt in my mind with that.
I actually think the opposite, based on like how much of like press they've done, like they were together making that stupid video where their audio's off, whatever. Like I think he's going to be. I actually thought like he was going to be a cameo at first as well, but after that, I kind of think he's going to be a main character. Also, people hate this excuse, but it's fair. The MCU it has a multiverse. Just pull a different fucking Logan. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. Just pull a different Hugh Jackman. They're all, you have an infinite number. It doesn't have to be the Fox universe. It doesn't have to be the Fox Deadpool. It doesn't matter. It's just a movie.
But this also so they're bringing back Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. He's not going to be the long-term MCU Wolverine. So we still need, when is that coming into play? When are we getting an MCU Wolverine and who are they casting? Like that's above all, that's my biggest question.
Bring back the girl from Logan.
Yes. Thank you.
Instead of anyone else, bring back her. She was amazing. I don't know her name, honestly.
All right. Well, no one is excited for Deadpool 3 more than Seth's film reviews.
I haven't even seen the first two, so no idea.
I thought you would have watched at least one.
No, I will watch them because from how they look, they do look quite funny. So I probably will go around.
They're very funny.
The X-Men universe as a whole is quite good.
I haven't seen Logan.
You don't think the X-Men universe is good? Days of Future Past, First Class, Logan, Deadpool 2.
Okay.
They're batting above 500.
They have a lot. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I
Wipe
think
that
most
smug grin off your face.
I think most comic book universe is bad above 500, though. To be fair,
You think that
it's
even about the DCEU?
yeah.
Wow.
Dude, all of those movies are still look very good. They're well produced. They have good directors. Like, they have good actors. Gal Gadot is a great Wonder Woman. Like, these are like, they have stupid storylines sometimes, or the villains are useless, but that doesn't make them bad movies. And that's what I try to like express with a lot of these new MCU Phase 4 movies. Like, they're still, I mean, some CGI here and there is wonky, but it still looks a lot better than some of the shit CGI we get on the bottom half of like movies in general. They still have good directors. They're still well produced. Like, they still have great actors. Like, things like that go into movies, in my opinion. Like, it's not just about did fucking Doctor Strange say Illumawati. The movie's a 3 out of 100. Like, shut up again. Just shut up, MCU fans.
Moving on. So this is interesting news. So Black Panther 2, not confirmed to have a runtime of 2 hours and 41 minutes. I think is just what people saw in a theater's listing at this point. But I think it was funny because when people saw Thor Love and Thunder's runtime, they were like, this is way too short. But now this one's the polar other end of the spectrum, the second longest MCU movie of all time, if this news is true. Are we worried for the opposite reason now? Are we like, this is way too long? Or are we happy we're getting enough time to flesh out this whole story, pay tribute to Chadwick Boseman while also building towards the future of Wakanda and Black Panther? What do we think about this 2 hour, 41 minute runtime?
Yeah, I think 2 hours and 41 minutes makes sense for the exact reason you just said. This is not going to exclusively be a Black Panther movie. This is going to be a Chadwick Boseman tribute. So I think a majority of the first half of the movie is going to be spent just tributing this absolute legend, which is why I think this runtime is a bit extended. And it makes sense that he absolutely deserves whatever tribute is going to be shown in this movie. But I think that's the main reason why this runtime is as long as possible, because this is not a Black Panther 2 movie. This is a Chadwick Boseman tribute movie with Black Panther in it. Or
Seth,
whoever.
did you watch Black Panther?
So last podcast,
you said you were going to, so I didn't know if you did.
No, I didn't.
You didn't get to. That's fine.
I will. No, sorry.
No,
tomorrow, I'm going to set a reminder. I will watch it tomorrow.
Said that last week, but no, that's fine.
No, I will watch it tomorrow. You can hold me on this, and you can say it next podcast. I will have watched it tomorrow. I will watch it tomorrow. Guaranteed.
That's fine.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited.
Yeah, echoing what George said. I think they need at least an hour or hour and a half almost to pay respects to Chadwick, and then you can move on. Obviously, at some point they're going to have to move on. It's very unfortunate what happened to Chadwick, but they're not recasting, which is the correct call. They're going to have to move on and get past that part of the movie. But I think to do it respectfully and to do it right, you need almost an hour and a half. So it's good that this movie has this long run time.
Question for all of you, I guess, even Seth. How do you think they're going to remove Chadwick Boseman's character from Black Panther 2? Do you think they're going to just start the movie with a funeral acting and then just give us maybe a little backstory that he died in battle in the movie? How do you think they're going to go about it?
That would be my guess. I would probably estimate the same.
That's my biggest question in this movie, because it has to be, or are they just going to ignore it and just kind of realize that, okay, everyone knows, Chadwick Boseman died. We don't need to.
I don't think they'll ignore it. I think they'll do some sort of tribute. I don't think they'll ignore it. I don't know if that would be the right way to do it, to be honest, as well. I don't know.
They're definitely not ignoring it.
I'm saying, do you think they're not even going to bother explaining why he's not in the movie, or are they just going to let us? Chadwick Boseman died.
In the trailer, they have what's the prince or the queen's name? I don't know. I'm not an MCU fan. She's has a monologue that's my son is dead, my family's dead, or whatever. So obviously they explain that he's dead. I think it's going to be an off-screen death, and then a funeral at the start, maybe. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see.
I do trust Ryan Coogler though. So.
Yep. That man's the best.
We're not going to have to wait too much longer in order to see it, but a movie that might take a while to see, or we don't know what's going to come of it. Bassam Tariq steps away from Blade. They're currently looking for a new director. Mahershala Ali is very frustrated with the process. Doesn't sound like anyone read the screenplay. Is this a sign of issues? Is this a sign of issues to come with Feige just being spread too thin, or is this just a freak occurrence?
That's a major issue. I think it's a freak occurrence. I mean, I don't know that much about him as a whole, but I think it's a freak occurrence. I don't know what them two think. They probably know more than I do, but from reading into it, I don't know. It doesn't sound good anyway.
As I've read into it a little bit, it kind of looks like I got a light on me. Sorry, it looks like Kevin Feige may have fired Basim Tariq, just like because he wasn't doing a great job. And Kevin Feige probably is stretched a little too thin. He does a whole lot, but it kind of sounds like it was his decision to fire, to rewrite. So he may have been off for a while, letting them do what they want. And as soon as he comes back in, he's like, this is crap. We need to redo this. So I don't know. I believe in Kevin Feige. I've said that even since people are mad at Phase 4. Who's back of the week this week? It's Kevin Feige. He's gonna get his shit together and get this shit going.
Yeah, hopefully there's a good wake up call for him, because I mean he obviously has to hear people's criticisms that they're spread too thin, it's going downhill, and obviously he hears that, even though he's still head down working and building stuff. And like Cam said, a lot of people just overreact way too much to Phase 4. But hopefully there's at least a little bit of a wake up call to be get your hands a little more involved in these projects, just so something can't Blade went completely off the rails from all the reports. It sounded like where just nothing seemed to be getting done.
Question: this is going to be really stupid. So, will it be an MCU film?
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Everything's an MCU.
You haven't seen Eternals yet, right?
No, because I didn't know, because obviously Blade was just Marvel before the MCU.
Stay through the credits.
Yeah.
I didn't know. In what film?
All of them.
Eternals. Well,
I haven't seen Eternals.
Yeah. Whenever you do, stay.
When's Eternals? Is it new?
Yeah,
it was 2022. Or was it one?
One.
Yeah, it definitely was one.
It was before No Way Home.
Is that the one with Harry Styles?
Right.
Yes.
Also, stay through the credits. Yeah.
So.
All right. Again, continuing with MCU movies, Armor Wars was a Disney Plus series, now going to be a movie. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? For me, if it's an MCU movie, I'm 25 times more interested in it than if it's a series. So I'm more excited about this. They said they wanted to do more justice and flesh out the story more. And people say, a series you can flesh out a story more because you have more time. But not Disney Plus MCU series. They do not really flesh out much in those. It seems like a lot of filler for the most part in most of these. So I'm more excited for a movie. I feel like it's a better chance of being good. But that's just me. Cam, what do you think?
I'll let George start us off with this one, because I know George. I'm going to be positive on all of these.
I'm not going to be positive on this at all. I am more excited about a movie than a show, just because outside of Loki and WandaVision and What If, Disney Plus shows have been absolute ass.
Tried to sneak What If in there.
What If? I don't care. So I am more excited about a movie than a show. But at the same time, I could not give a fuck about Armor Wars at all. We've seen this story 3 times already in the MCU. What happens if Stark Tech gets into the wrong hands? There's no need for it. War Machine is not a character I think needs a solo outing. And I think they're going to bait us with putting Hulk in the movie and putting other MCU characters, because they know no one else is going to go see this movie if it was exclusively a War Machine movie. I'll be in the theater on day one to watch this, but I won't be excited about it.
I'm surprised he's getting a solo project, and I don't even know anything about him.
There's just no need for it.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
I like Don Cheadle.
I like him.
Don Cheadle's
a great actor.
Yeah, he's getting solo.
So to that, George, I don't know if this is true or false, but did you see there were reports that White Vision, Paul Bettany is going to be back in this one, as well as Yeah, so I don't. I saw it. It was a tweet, and it wasn't from a verified source, and I didn't look into it at all because I don't care. But it's. I saw White Vision may be back, as well as Justin Hammer, obviously Sam Rockwell. So to your point, though, there will be other people in this, as well as what's her name, who's in the Ironheart series. I don't know the actress and his name, Riri Williams. That's her character, but. Yeah, whatever. She'll most likely, I can almost guarantee she'll be in it. It's supposed to tie in directly with Secret Wars, if I'm not mistaken. maybe that does anything. I don't know. It's not something I'm like super amped for compared to a lot of these other things, but it'll be fine.
I'm gonna be like honest on my like outlook of Marvel. There's no Marvel project outside of Fantastic Four and the 2 Avengers movies that I'm like genuinely looking forward to. I was
Black Panther 2 after that trailer.
I was looking forward to Blade. It was my most. I posted a video a couple months ago about my most anticipated Marvel movies. I had Blade at number 1, but now I'm turned off to it because of all this negativity that's around it. I'm excited for Black Panther, but I'm mostly excited just to see what they do with Chadwick's character and how they tribute him.
That's one of the best trailers they've given us. I think
it was a great trailer. There's no doubt about it. It's a fantastic trailer. But I don't know. There's just not a lot of Marvel future that I'm like really excited for.
That's fair. Did you see the leaks for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania trailer and Loki trailer? Did you watch those?
Just the Ant-Man one, yes.
Yeah,
which I will say did look pretty sick.
Yeah,
that did look good.
Yeah, they're leaks. We don't have to talk about it.
We don't have to talk about it.
Yeah. Well, considering the future of the MCU, Harrison Ford is Disney's top choice to play General Ross in Thunderbolts. So Harrison Ford entering the MCU, is that? I feel like he's pretty old at this point to be joining the MCU, but
I mean, why not?
Like, get that bag.
Get your bag. Get your bag. Exactly.
How old's Harrison Ford now?
He's got to be like 80.
Got to be 80. Yeah.
But Anthony Hopkins would have joined quite old, wouldn't he?
That's fair.
I mean, yeah, he had to.
It's Anthony.
Odin.
Yeah.
It's just
like
he
would probably been like, thank you.
Harrison Ford was like one of these things, and it's the same thing with like Christian Bale expressing interest in being in Star Wars.
I want to talk about that.
If either of them expresses interest in being in your franchise, you're putting them in your franchise. Like you're not saying no to Christian Bale, one of the greatest actors of all time, and Harrison Ford, one of the most iconic actors of all time. Like you're just not saying no. Doesn't matter what they want to play. It doesn't matter what movie they want to be in. It doesn't matter if they want a main role, a supporting role, or a 30-second cameo. You are putting them in your movie.
Yeah, I understand William Hurt is like General Ross's character isn't as big as Chadwick Boseman's Black Panther character, but William Hurt already played General Ross and then obviously, unfortunately, passed. And they're just recasting him. I guess they're just like, yeah, it's different. We're recasting him, which I mean makes sense. You kind of, from everything I've heard about Thunderbolts, again, I'm not a comic book reader. You kind of need General Ross, considering he's Thunderbolt Ross. But I don't know, just kind of weird. Can we talk about that Christian Bale thing?
I was just going to say that. Let's go right into that. Go ahead, Cam.
I just have one point. Christian Bale is he's really interesting because you know that Leo quote that's like, what is it to Timothy Chalamet?
It's
no superhero movies, no something else. I forget.
Hard drugs, I think it is.
Yeah, hard drugs, no superhero movies. Perfect. Yeah. I think Christian Bale is better or as good of an actor as Leo. And he's like, yeah, I'll do every superhero movie.
I think he's better.
He's Batman. He's Gore. Now it's like, yeah, I want to play.
He's the exception, definitely.
It's interesting though. He's just like, sure, I'm in it. I want them all. So
it's all the time that Leonardo DiCaprio spends like trying to promote climate change and working on that. That's the time that Christian Bale's like, this is my superhero movie time.
But also like look at the MCU and like I think that's such a pretentious thing for Leo to say because like Anthony Hopkins, Christian Bale, Tilda Swinton, like the MCU has had some impeccable actors and actresses in their franchise who I wouldn't particularly rate above Leonardo DiCaprio, but they're still considered some of the greats.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Which was Tilda Swinton? Was she in Captain Doctor Strange? Doctor Strange, yeah, that's it.
And Endgame.
Was she in Endgame? I don't remember.
And Endgame, yeah. When
she's great. She's great.
The stone.
Yep. She's a great actress. I really like her.
Yeah.
Well, we'll leave it there for the MCU, but we'll transition that into some other movie news because Jonathan Majors, massive MCU character, is going to be majorly important to the future of the MCU. He's in talks to be playing Dennis Rodman, former great with the Chicago Bulls, who's also a very interesting character in a movie called 48 Hours in Vegas, which will chronicle the journey after Rodman, who was then a star player for the Chicago Bulls, asked his coach Phil Jackson if he could take a 48-hour trip to Las Vegas in the middle of the 1998 NBA Finals against the Utah Jazz, which is just a baller move. But he's a very interesting. We saw years ago Dennis Rodman would be hanging out with like Kim Jong-il in North Korea, like very interesting guy. But shout out Jonathan Majors, I guess.
Wasn't wasn't Kim Jong Il dad?
Kim Jong-un, one of the Kim
yeah.
Jongs. I don't know.
One of the,
I
this is a weird one.
Jonathan Majors up there, like up there with an actor. He's an actor I'll see in everything. Actually, I'm willing to say The Harder They Fall. He is so fucking good. He's amazing in that movie.
Whole movie is so good.
Loki, the one episode he's in, he is so good, man. What's that? Is it Lovecraft Island? Is he in that? Never watched that. I'm sure he's so good.
That was good,
dude. He's awesome.
I
don't think I've seen him in any of these.
No, I don't think so. I don't think I've seen him.
I mean, yeah, obviously you haven't watched Loki, but I'm shocked you didn't watch The Harder They Fall. He's probably in other things that I'm not naming, but he's just so good. And then he looks fucking huge for Creed. I'm in. I love him.
How tall is he? That's an interesting one. Is he?
He's got to be 6'5".
So mad. That one picture that went viral of him on the set of Creed is the most absurd thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, man. Defy Bloods. He was awesome in. He's amazing in that. Did you watch that, Seth?
Yeah, I forgot he was in that.
Yeah, I did too.
Another movie announced, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, directed by Wes Ball, who's most notably known as the director of the Maze Runner trilogy, starring Freya Allan from The Witcher, Owen Teague, who is in the Archangel episode of Black Mirror, as well as the 2 new It movies, as well as Peter McCone, who is from The Orville. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, this series has been going on for a long time now.
So underrated.
Yeah? Is it, though? Like, I feel like that's one of the
things. I think that was a joke. I think that was a joke.
To be a joke.
Everyone says it's underrated.
The most underrated trilogy ever.
Same with How to Train Your Dragon.
It's properly rated.
Everyone says How to Train Your Dragon's underrated.
Yeah, definitely.
Properly rated. Everyone who's seen it knows it's good. Shut up.
That's it. It's a good. They are good films.
Yeah. Properly rated.
But so we're. It's gonna, for me. It's just like, it'll come out. I'll watch it. I'm not dying to see it, but I'm gonna watch it when it comes out, and that's about it. That's all my thoughts on it.
I'm intrigued to see what they're gonna do, because obviously, how many years is it after the events of the last one? I can't remember now, but I'm really intrigued to see what they're gonna do with it. But
24, did they say?
Or I think you might 24, 27.
2024. That may be. It's something. No,
I think you might be right. I think it's in the 20s.
Yeah,
it's not Matt Reeves. I don't want it.
That's the thing. And Matt Reeves. They always say it's that Matt Reeves trilogy. He didn't direct Rise of Planet, which is the worst of the 3.
Who did the first one?
I'm looking at it right now. Rupert Wyatt. But
that is the weakest of the trilogy.
Yeah, of course. But I don't know. So that you get a little bit of like, I'm a little worried about it that it's not Matt Reeves, but I don't know. It'll be fine, I'm sure. People will call it underrated.
All right. Then we had a couple of trailers that we'll run through. So the Bones and All trailer, I thought it looked awesome. I think I'm going to love this movie. I'm so excited for that movie.
Yes, definitely.
Really
excited for this.
We'll just leave it at that. I think we're all super stoked for that movie. Last of Us trailer has me intrigued. So it's a series releasing on HBO Max in 2023 based on one of the most successful video games of all time, featuring Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey. Pedro Pascal rarely misses in anything he's in, so that gives me hope. But it is, like we talked about last week, a video game to screen adaptation. Yeah. I think HBO Max is hoping this can become a long-running series and be what The Walking Dead failed to be by dropping off so hard. Because I don't think they said it's a limited series. I think they're going to intend on making this long.
This will make a lot of money. That is one of the most successful games ever. It's amazing.
Has anyone played it?
Yeah, I played it. Yeah, it is that good. It's in the gaming community, like it's such a high regard, so it will make money. People will watch it, but video game adaptations, they're very, like we spoke about last week, they're very rarely good. George, someone pointed out last week that you missed, what's it called?
Arcane.
Yeah, I've not seen that.
Yeah, when Tyler asked me what the best video game adaptation is.
Is that an adaptation?
Like, it's a prequel to League of Legends, I guess. I don't know.
It's fine.
I don't even know what that is.
That's the only reason. I mean, one, you should all watch it. I could sit here and argue that Arcane season 1 is the best season 1 of television ever. I might take it over True Detective. I might take it over Breaking Bad. I might take
Prison Break.
Prison Break, Lost, anything. Match it up. I don't care. I might take Arcane. It's that good of a show.
Hot take.
It's the only reason that I'm excited for The Last of Us, because if they can adapt that video game as well as someone adapted League of Legends, then I have hope.
Valid.
I'll watch it. Yeah, it'll make money. I'll watch it.
And then, so we have a Community movie in the works, was confirmed by Joel McHale. It'll be on Peacock. I personally despise Community. I'm sorry if that offends any of you. I've tried to get past the first season so many times, and I just can't get past it whatsoever. I'm not a fan of that show.
Couple seasons.
But so are you excited for this, Cam, or just cash grab?
No.
Yeah, okay.
I don't care for this. I like the first couple seasons, but
George,
that's
Seth,
about
have either of
as
you
far as
seen
I go.
Community?
I think I've seen like one episode. It's not really my.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
I didn't like it at all. But
yeah, and also Childish Gambino, or God, what's his real name?
Donald Glover.
Donald Glover. Thank you.
Yeah.
He's the only one, I guess, that's not signed back, and like that's kind of a make or break signing. I feel like he's so much bigger now
I know.
than he was during that show. But like that's the make or break character. Not even character, actor. I feel like you got to sign him back. But
I mean, Abed was pretty like key to the show too. I feel like he was funny.
No, yeah, I agree, but I'm saying like
name wise
interest if you get Donald Glover.
You're right. It's a Peacock movie, so whatever. The Peacock notoriously known for their one film they've released called They Them, which obviously was a smashing success. So
is that the Kevin Bacon one?
Yeah,
it's actually they/them because it's a slasher.
I saw Cam's review on that. It didn't look very good.
By the way, when I saw that, I was like, "This is a dope name, like really smart." And then
that is a good name. Yeah, I agree.
And then you watch the movie and you lose brain cells.
Yeah, it wasn't good. All right.
Back to some trailers. Spoiler alert: dropped a trailer. It's directed by Michael Showalter, who directed The Big Sick, starring Jim Parsons. Everyone knows from Big Bang Theory. Yep. Sally Fields, Ben Aldridge. Obviously, I mean, you kind of have to mention it's similar, like in flavor to Bros, which just came out recently. But this seems a lot more sad. Like I feel like this one's going to be a lot more hitting your heart than Bros, which I feel like is more lighthearted. But none of us have seen Bros yet, so I can't talk on that. But
I thought Bros isn't Bros quite hard hitting as well? I might be wrong, but I thought I heard someone say that. Is it not?
I just assume based on the cast of Bros, there's gonna be more lighthearted comedy. Obviously, with its serious moments, but the one for spoiler alert looks like similar to The Big Sick, or not? Yeah, The Big Sick, where it's gonna just like there's gonna be scenes that are gonna hit you in the heart.
I haven't seen that. I know Cam loves it. Yeah,
I love The Big Sick.
I'm right there with you. 5 stars for sure.
So
5.
Yes, 5 stars.
Really? Like, is that your highest rated?
It's the best rom-com of all time.
Oh my God! When Harry Met Sally is sitting right there, bro.
I just watched it.
No, it's so cool.
When Harry Met Sally is very good.
Is Punch Drunk Love a rom-com?
Yeah, but it's still not better than When Harry Met Sally.
You haven't watched The Big Sick, you clown.
You're right, I have.
You have to see, because it's so cool, because it's literally like Kumail Nanjiani's life. Like it's like his actual life events being retold.
He's
like,
funny.
In the movie, Kumail Nanjiani plays Kumail Nanjiani. Like his name's Kumail. It's his whole life. It's how he met his wife. Great film. But
I might watch it.
It's on our list. It's on our ReelTok collection.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so far, so you got to get it done. Which we just soft launched the ReelTok collection name drop there. But we're not even going to mention it anymore. We're not even going to mention it anymore. We're just going to let them percolate in their minds what they think that is. Yes, the last trailer, final trailer for Halloween Ends, and then whoever put this in is so right. Will it really, though? Will it really end here?
It's not going to end.
No, it's not going to end.
It's not going to end.
Man. Who gives a shit?
The trailer doesn't even look good as far as I'm concerned. Oh, man.
The first Halloween, gave, not the first, the reboot in this trilogy gave
the reboot.
Good movie.
It's a good movie.
I think it was okay.
Halloween Kills sucked.
You know why? You know why this isn't going to end? So I don't know if you paid attention in the trailer. They gave away so much information that there's going to be like a successor to Michael Myers.
Yeah.
So I think the Michael Myers that we know is going to die, but there's going to be another one.
They'll probably post-credit scene of someone
to take over his fucking mantle.
Yeah.
Right now,
Michael Myers.
Post-credit scene, someone picks up the mask. And on the back, you don't see it, but you see the back of his head. He almost puts it on, cut to black. He's calling it now.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
it gave me a little goosebumps. It's kind of sick. No, I'm just not, whatever. Netflix announced a new thriller that's got quite a stacked cast. It sounds intriguing. A TSA agent is blackmailed by a mysterious traveler. He's forced to let a dangerous package slip through security and onto a Christmas Day flight, inducing perhaps the most airport anxiety ever. It's directed by Jaume Collet Sierra, who's directing Black Adam. Might have heard of that movie coming out. Starring Taron Egerton, Sophia Carson, who was the girl in Purple Hearts, who got her bag from singing those songs in that movie. Jason Bateman.
He's good.
And Daniel Deadweiler.
Bateman's great.
Yeah. Great cast. Like Taron Egerton and Jason Bateman in the film, plus Sophia Carson. And sounds intriguing. It kind of reminds me of Nonstop, if you ever saw that movie back in the day.
No.
Airport thriller. Should be good. It's a Netflix thriller, so it is what it is. But the cast has me intrigued. We obviously don't know how Black Adam will turn out, but the director at least has experience with massive blockbusters. I don't know. I'm excited for it.
It'll probably be a fun watch, which has got not much substance, but it's nice to throw on in the background. That's what I'm imagining it to be anyway, because it is Netflix at the end of the day. But it's good cast.
Every Netflix movie that's ever been released.
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I have higher hopes for it than like The Gray Man and stuff like that, though. So I hope it can eclipse a 5 out of 10.
Gray Man was one of my most anticipated movies of the year. I was so amped. But
and it was a dud, right, for you too?
It was better than Red Notice, but right there, just like
that's such a low bar, dude.
It's a movie. I have Red Notice like right at a 50 out of 100. Right on, like you turn this movie on, you know what's gonna happen. It's not gonna bore you, but like it's not gonna do anything. You're just gonna be there. You're gonna have watched a movie. That's it. Like that's all you get.
Just go watch it.
Well, in our last bit of movie news for the week, Robert Eggers' newest movie, Nosferatu, which is a loose adaptation of the Dracula novel, will star Bill Skarsgård and Lily Rose Depp. Now, this is a passion project of his that he's been working on since 2019 that he had to put on pause, which he then made The Northman. Harry Styles was actually initially going to be in it in the 2019 version, but it doesn't sound like he's going to be in it anymore, which, depending on your view of Harry Styles, could be a pro or a con. What do you guys think about this? Robert Eggers batting a great batting average for his films. I loved The Northman that came out this year.
Have any of you guys? Sorry, Tyler. Carry on.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, have any of you guys seen Nosferatu?
The original?
Okay.
No.
Yeah, the original. So this is something that I was really disappointed by when he did mention that obviously it wasn't going to go forward. And there's been a lot of backlash to this. You know, now obviously Anya Taylor-Joy isn't in it anymore, and obviously Lily Rose Depp has been replaced her. Bill Skarsgård playing. I think this is going to be a Robert Eggers movie to a T. I think this narrative, this style is just going to fit him so perfectly. I can really imagine me really enjoying this just as I have his other 3 films. I think this is like a perfect match in terms of if I was to hear this narrative, I would immediately put this with Robert Eggers to direct. I think, George, you're probably very excited for it as well, assuming.
Yeah, I mean, Robert Eggers bats 3-0 right now. He's batting 100%.
Yep.
I don't hold The Northman as highly as I hold The Lighthouse and The Witch, but it's still a top tier, technically masterful film. And Nosferatu feels like it's going to be more of like a tribute to his career, kind of the way like Terry Gilliam's like the Zero Theorem was executed, where he's going to just pull out all of his tricks.
I'm so sorry.
Pause again. So 2 cams have appeared, and it's so creepy because one of them is frozen. That's just staring at us, like judging Cam for all his opinions.
So
George, sorry,
George.
George.
It's like a jump scare.
I was done anyways.
Okay. But yeah, me and George specifically really excited. I don't know about you.
I don't have anything.
Okay.
George, you watched the Northman, didn't you, Cam?
Yeah. I really like the Northman.
I think I liked it more than most people even.
No, man. The Witch is something I would have like at the start of the year. If I would have turned it on and like asked my wife if she wanted to watch it. But now that I know it's A24, I'm gonna assume it's probably in that like it's gonna make you feel uncomfortable.
Very like that.
Yeah. No so like I'm not gonna ask her to watch it. Amazing. So it'll be a bit till I get around to it. But I know it's good. I don't know. Well, I'll get around. I'll get around to it whenever you watch Black Panther.
Tomorrow. So you're watching it tomorrow then?
Oh, never.
Tomorrow.
I still need to watch The Witch. I've seen The Lighthouse and The Northman.
It's in my opinion, The Witch set a new standard for modern horror. The atmosphere that he manages creating that film, the performances, the sound, the dialogue. I think that is such a great film. I would recommend it to anyone. I think it is like Cam said, though. It is like that classic A24 horror. It is very.
I enjoy that though.
Psychological. It's like it's just.
I don't mind it.
It gets in your head. It's not like a jump scare filled horror. It just gets in your head. Paranoia inducing atmosphere. Weird. Yeah, I think it's great. It's probably a me and George film more than you two anyway. I would say. But yeah, very much looking forward to it. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that does it for movie news. So we will transition into our last kind of couple topics for this week's episode. Blonde. For obvious reasons, it's a difficult movie to review for obvious reasons. Based on a fictional novel of Marilyn Monroe's life, Norma Jean Baker, So what you won't learn anything from this movie. What you'll see in this movie is stuff that you can't really acclaim to fact. I mean, I wouldn't be even surprised if 0% of this film had any fact. Like, there's just no fact in this film whatsoever. So it's a movie basically about how much Marilyn Monroe was exploited, and in doing so, they exploit her by making a movie that's not even really about her life. So it's just a tough film to review because it just doesn't feel like it ever should have been made. But I'll hand off the baton here to Cam, starting off for our reviews of Blonde. There's nothing really to spoil in Blonde, so I mean, it's not like we need a spoiler-free, non-spoiler. Like, it's just like it's a movie that happened. So Cam, what's your review?
Yeah, I gave this movie a 32 out of 100, 1.5 stars, and all 32 of those points are for Ana de Armas. I think her performance is better, if not as good, but better than Austin Butler's Elvis. I think she gives the best. Yeah, I did. I think, like, other than maybe at some points her accent comes through, but even that, like, didn't bother me in any way. Like, I think she gives the best performance of the year. And all 32 of those points are for her just being great in this movie. That being said, like you said, this is a hard movie to review. I'm not upset Andrew Dominic made this movie in any, like, it's just, but why did he make this movie? Why? And again, a man can make this movie. I'm not saying that, but, like, it's, why did he make this movie? I feel like, to tackle something this hard and this just displeasing and upsetting, it has to almost be a passion project of yours. And you have to put everything into it. Like, everything about Marilyn Monroe's life. Everything there is to know about her. You want to honor her in some sort of way. And this just felt like it was a fuck you to her, which is, like, a really upsetting to watch, especially like when you read some of the quotes he said about Marilyn Monroe, like, in the past, like calling her a whore, things like that. Like, why
is he directing this?
Just why is he directing this? Like, he clearly, and it's just done so distastefully. And so for the rest of my review, like, I can pass it off, but for the rest of my review, I'll try to, like, talk about this movie without like just talk about this movie as a movie. And there are a lot of things, like, just purely in the movie that I don't like, and I don't, like, agree with his choices on the directing standpoint, and some people's acting's a little weird, just things like that. But that's the biggest thing, is, like, this dude should not have been directing this movie. And I don't know. That's my opinion on it. George? Anyone else can go?
Yeah, I mean, the movie was made with such poor taste. It feels like they tried their best to make a movie to shine a light on the exploitative nature of Hollywood, and they just slapped Marilyn Monroe name on it to make people watch it, and it was just done in such a tasteless, disrespectful way. I think Ana de Armas was good. I don't think she was great. Her accent bled through just a few too many times for me. Okay. And I don't know. It's a tough movie not only to watch, but it's a tough movie to talk about. Especially the side of TikTok that we're on. One wrong statement can really hurt all of us.
Yep.
So I'm going to leave it at there. I will say, from a technical standpoint, I think the movie was rather good, but I still gave it a 2 out of 5. I think there were some beautiful shots. I think there were some interesting editing choices that kind of added to, like, this paranoid nature of Marilyn Monroe's false life. But I don't know. It's just a movie that I left with such a bad taste in my mouth, and like Cam said, it had me questioning why. 1, why was this even made? 2, why was this director attached to it? And 3, why are we even bothering telling a story that isn't true about one of the biggest icons ever?
Yeah. Seth.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to echo what these two have already said, but I don't understand why he is directing that. It doesn't make any sense. I agree with what George said as well. They've just put it on it as tried to show the exploitive way of Hollywood, but they've just put Marilyn Monroe's name on it, which is so ridiculous. In my opinion, that like they both said as well, the film really shouldn't have been made. I think her performance, I think it was good, but her accent did come through a few too many times for me. So I would probably echo George's thoughts, but I definitely thought it was a very solid performance. I give it a 2 out of 5, so 4 out of 10 or so. I think the positive points for me, I think technically it was a good film. I think the editing was good. I think that it was shot really well. I think some of the performances were good. I just think it shouldn't have been made. I think it was distasteful. I think it was exploitive, all in all. Like, just to echo what they've said, but I don't know why it was made. I don't know why he's directing that, and I also, don't think it should have been made at all. That's pretty much it.
And this is without a doubt the most polarizing film.
Have you seen the graph?
Oh, it's absurd.
It's like
nuts.
level. I've never seen anything like it.
Like all of everyone I follow on Letterboxd, I've seen 5 out of 5s. I've seen half a star. So it's.
I'm starting to think maybe there's a point for me where it's like, if a film is technically good, but I really just hate the way they've done it, I don't think it should have been made, and I think it's really distasteful. Just because I like the way it was shot, maybe I think that I actually gave it too high of a score, 2 out of 5 anyway. Just because I like the way it was shot, I don't think it should have been made. I think it was distasteful. I think it was a pretty horrible film all in all. So I'm actually thinking that a 2-star was probably generous.
The only reason I have it as highly rated as a 2 out of 5 is because of its technical aspect. I think it's a very well-made film. Like, it looks good, but what you're watching kind of turns you off.
Yeah, and also it's so long,
too long.
It really drags at some points. Like,
my review of Blonde is a little higher than all of yours, but that kind of goes into what Seth's been saying, because I totally agree. Like, it's just hard to review a film that I don't think it should have been made. I think it is exploitative. I think Andrew Dominic is probably a piece of shit. But I don't know how much, like,
no doubt a piece of shit.
No doubt a piece of shit. Okay. But I just don't know how to give a favorite, like, I don't know. See, that's just what's so perplexing. That's why it's so polarizing, because how much do you knock off for that? Nice kitty, Cam. But for me, I really enjoyed the style of this film. The editing, the direction is very art house. Like, they switch between like 3 aspect ratios and 4 different color palettes, and I thought all the acting performances were great. Not only just Ana de Armas. It'll be interesting to see if this movie gets any Oscar buzz for any performances or direction or editing. Based on the backlash, I don't know. But what's interesting is this movie is so controversial because it is so exploitative for portraying a false narrative of Marilyn Monroe. Yet, when this was released at the film festival, there was a 14-minute standing ovation that just like perfectly speaks to Hollywood. Like, they're being so exploitative, and then when they see something so exploitative of someone's life, they're like, bravo, we're going to give our longest standing ovation to this film. And that just speaks to how elite they are in a bad way.
Yeah. When I first saw it, I think we all did, when we first saw the 14-minute ovation, we're like, okay.
I stood up for 35 minutes just to be longer.
It's just like, it's ridiculous anyway. But then the fact that you give 40-minute standing ovation to that, people in Hollywood, it's just ironic. It's just ridiculous. And
I have a lot of points, like, beside just the director, like, that I disliked about. I think Bobby Cannavale stunk in this thing. I think it was a stinker in this movie.
Sorry, who is he?
He's the athlete. He's the athlete.
Oh, the Joe DiMaggio.
Bobby Cannavale. Yeah, you don't know Bobby Cannavale?
I do, but I can't put the name in the face. But yeah, he played Joe DiMaggio.
That's fine.
I didn't think he was great at all.
Dude, I think he stunk. But beside the point, I'm on the opposite. I hated how this was directed. And maybe this comes and the style of this movie. Maybe this comes to me like just being my film bro, love comic book nature. Yeah, exactly. This thing's, dude, he thought he was so fucking smart making this. There are at least 25 and a half times that the scene stays on it, but there's audio from the next scene. And he's like, yeah, man, got to add another one of those. Got to start talking. Dude, oh my God. It happens 15, 20, 30 times. I was so pissed off by the end of it. I'm like, just stop. But that's the difference between us, I guess. And I just like, oh my God, it frustrated me after the 14th time. Also, here's something. And this, again, you could take my review with a grain of salt. I noticed that, but then halfway through the movie, I'm like, wait, this thing's in fucking black and white. Like, that's something I noticed, but then like halfway through, I'm like, wait a minute, how long has this been in black and white? I just didn't notice that apparently, but I don't know. I didn't like the directing.
I think it's just preference, though, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
I
fine.
like that style. Yeah,
that's
It's
fair.
very
I think
art
he
house.
just thought he was. I think he was just thinking he was so much smarter than like
then what the
this
film
movie
actually was.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
I'm gonna give him this beautiful film, but
I do
still
know what
be
you mean.
shit. You know,
whereas I'm quite opposite there, because if this movie just was the same exact movie on the screen, just ripped away from Marilyn Monroe, like it was just all fictional characters, I would have quite enjoyed it, honestly. I mean, some of the scenes, like we know what scenes we're talking about here, go way too far and are just graphic, and I just did not need to see those. But in terms of just an overall movie, if this was just a completely fictionalized account, which it is, but not with any names we know, not with JFK, not with Joe DiMaggio, not with Marilyn Monroe, I would have quite enjoyed it. I would have given it like, I don't know, 4 out of stars maybe, 4 out of 5 stars. I quite enjoyed the direction, the
I see your
style.
point.
Yeah,
I see your point. I liked the style, but again, it's preference. And I can definitely see why people would just think like, why are you doing that when there is little to no substance in this film, like Cam said.
Right.
But yeah, I liked the style. I liked the way it was shot. I liked the way it was edited. But apart from that,
and also just like, and we're not going to get into this at all, but like just with like the news around Roe v. Wade recently, I think it pissed everyone off on both sides. Like it did like a horrible job on both sides. It's just like such a bad time. And Seth, doesn't affect you in any way, but it's just something that's like, why did this come out now? You know, I don't know. It's just shit person. We know that. That's fine.
Yeah, bad person. Shit film.
But so that it's a hard film to review. It's a controversial film. But we get a whole it's the third right now. We get a whole 3 days until we have to review another controversial film with Amsterdam coming out. So that'll be next week's episode. We'll talk about that. But yeah, we aren't getting away from controversy anytime soon here. If you don't know about that director, we'll probably mention it next week. But just Google it yourself.
A little Google search will go a long way.
Yeah, which is like, I'm kind of saying it facetiously, but also like before you see this film, I think you should be aware of, like, because I don't think everyone knows. I think everyone in the mainstream probably doesn't know unless they're in the film community. So I would say look up the director of Amsterdam and do your research before seeing it, because there might be people, or plenty of people, like I even think my girlfriend might be one who just doesn't want to see the film, which I have no issue with because of the director. So do your research, do your due diligence. That'll be next week's review. But before we end up this week's podcast, we're going to do another draft because people love the drafts. But this time we're going to do a little more. There's a lot more strategy in this one. It's going to have to take some thinking. You're going to have to be a lot more strategic because we're doing a film bro draft, which film bro is kind of a derogatory term in the film community, but I think we can all say we're proud film bros. Like people use it to say, you know, your film opinions are shit because you like these stereotypical movies. And these stereotypical movies often come from directors Martin Scorsese, Christopher Nolan, David Fincher, Quentin Tarantino, and some others. But for our film draft today, we're going to have 5 rounds as always. And you have to pick one film from each of those 4 directors I mentioned. So 1 Scorsese, 1 Nolan, 1 Fincher, 1 Tarantino, and then you get 1 wild card. And the point here isn't to make the best movies of all time. You're not going to pick their best movies. It's what are the broiest film bro films you can come up with. Seeing who's going to win. Yes, sir.
Does the wild card, can I pick an actor or director or something like that? Like, does it have to be a movie?
You do this every time.
Yeah, all the time.
I had a really good one if I could go like a little wild, but
save it for the honorable mentions. But it's going to take.
It would win me this. It would win me this.
Yeah. So before we get into the draft, just because the strategy here is that we're not going round 1's not Scorsese round 2's not Nolan round. You can pick them in any order whatsoever. So the order here we're going is Seth, George, Tyler, Cam, and then we'll snake our way back around. But the first overall pick in the Film Bro draft, the broiest of Film Bro films that Seth Film Reviews can think of is.
I think the most Film Bro thing, I think it's Fight Club. I think that's easily the most Film Bro film. Yeah.
I agree. I do agree. That was 100%.
That's got to be the number 1, hasn't it?
I'm so mad you took that. Fuck.
You think that's number 1?
That's easily number 1.
Really? Okay. You don't? I think that's clear number 1.
I think that's so clear. Second pick, I gotta go Taxi Driver.
Really?
That's up there.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Okay. Oh, it's me now, right?
Speaking of Taxi Driver, the film bro behind me. Yeah, brilliant.
That's why I really thought you were going to take Taxi Driver to leave Fight Club.
I don't know if that's that high for me in terms of this list, but I get it.
I'm going to go with my wild card in the first round and take American Psycho.
Fuck you.
Oh, that is it. Yeah,
man.
Okay, fair.
I really.
That's a good one.
That was my number 1 wild card.
I am the most film bro director is Christopher Nolan. like without a doubt.
I
So
agree.
I'm shocked I have like the full plate of Christopher Nolan. Oh,
Dunkirk.
I think there's a standout Nolan, but I want to see if you choose the
I
same.
think
Yeah, same.
it's Interstellar. I
Ooh,
think
that's-
that's the most.
That's not my
bro.
top Nolan.
That's not what I was going to go for.
Don't say
Okay,
it though, but yeah.
all right. Interstellar's the most film bro in my opinion, but
Okay.
Okay, but you get a second pick.
oh, I get a second pick. Yeah. So and then I have to pick. This is like maybe this should have been picked in the first round. It doesn't matter. I'm going with The Wolf of Wall Street.
Damn
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
That is the.
I mean,
That's
for
good.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just under Fight Club. That's like a high tier film, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shoot.
That's
Oh
annoying.
man.
It's really throws off my strategy right now.
That throws off mine. Yeah.
I'm going to
Interstellar, my
go
favorite
with
movie.
Inception for Nolan.
I think that's a great one. That was my Nolan pick.
Interesting. Okay, that's not even what my number 2 would have been, which I'm sure
Really?
gets picked at some
Maybe
point.
George
Yeah.
is about to pick that.
Well,
I don't know.
I'd like to pick a specific film, but I think there's only one Nolan option remaining, so I want to snag that before someone else does. So I'm going to take The Dark Knight.
Yeah. Gotta be
That's what
done.
I thought. That's what I was going between Interstellar and The Dark Knight. Like I didn't. I think Inception is just purely a great movie, but I'm a film bro.
Film
so-
bro movies are great movies. Like don't
that's
don't
true,
say
that's
if
true.
or-
There's a
or-
reason they're popular because they're good films. That's just
Yeah.
like.
That's true.
Is it me?
Yes.
Yep.
I'm. This is my. This could go one or two ways. I'm going to take my wild card. I'm going to say Drive.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I wasn't even thinking
good.
about that. That's a great
That's
one.
a film bro.
Yeah, that's
Good
for
one.
sure a film bro one.
And you have another pick.
Oh yeah, sorry. Ooh. Okay.
We're
7.
terrible at remembering
Seven.
these drops.
7 is so high tier film, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
That was my
anything-
top pick.
Seven
No,
is
yeah.
for sure.
But I don't think it's the best Fincher.
Gone Girl is the best Fincher, Cameron. Do you agree?
Wait. Hold on.
I have the Social Network higher actually.
I have it second, so okay, fair. I get it.
And just with that, I'm going to
Seth,
take
hold
Social
on.
Network.
Seth, what was your first
There.
pick?
Drive and 7.
Oh yeah,
No, what
Fight
did-
Club first.
Oh yeah.
Those are two
Oh.
Finchers.
No, it is.
Oh,
yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right.
So remove 7 from the board. Seth is back up.
Oh.
Well, then you
I'll
gotta-
take The Dark Knight.
I already
No,
took Dark
George
Knight.
just took the Dark Knight.
I'm just not listening.
You have any Tarantino movie, man? Any Scorsese?
I don't know if there's a standout Tarantino. I think the standout film bro Tarantino for me would be Django, so I'll go with that.
Mhm.
Okay. Good
That
pick.
would have been my top.
Good pick.
I don't know if there's a standout one though.
I took the Social Network after Steph.
Are you
Oh,
still doing the Social
no,
Network?
you
or
can
do you
change
want
that to-
7?
You
No,
want
I still want to take the Social
Okay.
Network.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Just making sure.
Yep. All right, Tyler.
All right. Social
Tyler, what was your first pick?
So my first pick was American Psycho.
Yeah,
That was a good pick.
That was good.
And then I came back with Inception. And now I'm going to go with
So mad you took American Psycho.
Mhm.
I'm going to go with you know what? We'll go with Inglourious Bastards.
That would be my second, I think. Yeah.
You
Tarantino, you can't really go wrong though with his picks.
All
No,
of them,
yeah,
like,
they're all.
you're right,
it's
you're right.
really hard to choose a one.
Yeah.
Inglourious Bastards is just my favorite, and I wanted it so I could bring up the fact that Adam Sandler was supposed to be the Bear Jew in that movie.
Really?
That's yeah.
I
He was
you know
supposed to be the Bear Jew. He was the first picked. I looked it up earlier. He was doing Funny People, directed by Judd Apatow. Couldn't make it.
That's a funny film. I like that film.
Yep.
Idiot.
So yeah, that's my fun fact of the day. So I've got Fincher and Tarantino left, and a wild card, but my wild card's not getting picked, so I'm saving it for last.
Fair.
I gotta go with what's more film bro, 7 or Gone Girl? It's 7. No one talks about Gone Girl enough. Seven's my pick. And then
Surprised you didn't mention Zodiac there.
I don't
think
think that's that
Zodiac's-
film. I don't think that's that
it's not
film,
too film bro.
I would put
Any
it above
Fincher is
Gone
film,
Girl
bro.
though.
It's too slow to be film bro, in my opinion, but it's good.
Wolf of Wall Street.
Dude,
so
film
that's
bros
not-
don't want to sit there for 3 hours.
I
Wolf
guess.
of Wall
Um,
Street.
All right, Tarantino.
Tarantino, I'm going with Pulp Fiction. It's Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, you got it.
Are you going to say Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
I was. That's very film bro, I feel like.
Is
But
it?
again,
I've not
that's
seen
too
it,
slow.
I've not seen it.
Not a real film bro.
It's film bro, but not in his top 4 film bro, I'd say. George?
I'll take Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
There it is. People like me, idiots, love to watch that movie and be like, man, you should see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Like,
I don't even like that movie.
I know you don't.
I need to watch it.
I
like
really
it,
do.
but- All right. So now we got Seth with his last pick, which is your wild card.
No, it's not.
No, no,
Driving
no,
the Wild.
Okay, yeah.
It's my Scorsese.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yes.
think when you think about film, bro, it's got to be like a fast-paced, entertaining film. I think Scorsese. I'm gonna go The Departed. I think that's like
Mm-hmm. Good pick.
that fits the narrative. I'll go with that.
I think that I don't know if that's a. I didn't think that was a film bro movie.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know.
So I'm also surprised you didn't take Shutter Island, considering
That's
how much.
That's
bro.
film. I don't think that's on my list, but I don't think that's.
as
Maybe it is.
much as The Departed.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
Maybe
really
it
a
is.
dark. It's a just random.
There's another main one that you could probably take that someone will probably take as well, but
You're up
I'll go The Departed.
again. You're up again, aren't you?
No, I've done my
Last pick.
4. Have I done my 5?
You have
you do
Nolan
5.
left.
You have Nolan.
Oh, did I not do that? Okay. Oh.
I think there's one right answer here, but
I think there is two.
There-
And
there's
I
a-
think
there is
I'm going to go
only
with one, but I don't think it's going to be the one that you're thinking of.
probably not. But
Does the one you're thinking of begin with a P?
it's your turn. Just pick.
I'm gonna go with Rises.
Wow.
that's what I was
I
thinking.
think
Oh.
I, think
I-
that's
I-
good.
I was
I don't.
thinking
I don't
P.
love Rises.
I was
think
thinking
it's
the
very
Prestige
strong.
as well,
I
and
was-
I thought you were gonna pick Memento.
I think Rises
No,
will
no.
get more votes than Prestige for
I
film
think
bro.
the Prestige and Memento are still okay. Everyone loves them, but they're still a little bit niche compared to the Christopher Nolan Dark Knight trilogy. I would say
That's fair.
compared.
That's fair. I don't hate that.
All right.
All right, I
now-
got my wild card.
Yeah.
I got a lot of options. I got to throw Denis in here somewhere, so I'm going to take Prisoners.
Yeah,
That's film, bro. Shit.
that is film, bro. That is film, bro.
good one. That's a good pick.
Okay.
Thank you.
Let's see.
Good
What do I have
pick, yeah.
left here?
3-0 inbound.
But you're gonna win anyway. We know this.
So do
It's-
I just
yeah.
have Scorsese and Fincher?
Let's time out. No, you have a.
Here we go. What are you going to say, Cam?
Don't be voting for George just
vote
because
for the
you're a
person you think
follower of
actually
George and you
wins.
love him. You want to kiss him all night. Vote for who should win. Have some respect.
Like me last time. Just
Yeah.
saying.
Me.
Cam, have you been keeping track? Do I have a Scorsese and Fincher left? Or
No,
just
you
one?
only have one left. You have a Scorsese left, right? What'd you take
Yeah.
for Fincher again?
That's what I'm missing. Did I take 7?
No, I took 7.
No.
God, we suck.
Did you guys
You
write
took
this
Gone
down?
Girl, right?
No.
I have it written down, but I have one missed, and it's Tyler's last
Yeah.
pick. Did we skip Tyler?
Give me Zodiac for that previous pick. 'Cause
Okay, that's
I think I
fine.
got skipped over my Fincher round, but
That might be it. But
and then my final
Scorsese.
pick for Scorsese, I'll do Goodfellas.
Yeah, that was my other one. Yeah.
That was my second like film bro Scorsese.
Mhm.
And then for the last one, for my wild card, I'm going with Who's Nailin Palin. It's directed by Jerome Tanner. It stars Lisa Ann. It's very
What?
film bro. The film bros love it.
This is one of his
No
jokes. isn't it?
shot that he just did that. There's no way he just did that.
I don't get it.
Explain, Cam. What is that
Straight-
movie?
Yeah, can you explain what we see in that movie?
No, I can't explain that. I'm not explaining it. You just have to look it
For
up.
God's sake.
There's no way.
Can you repeat the title? Can you repeat the title?
Who's Nailin Palin?
That wraps up our draft. So
Brilliant. It's always you.
bro, okay.
Are you sure you don't want to give an actual no?
No. He's sticking with that.
Okay,
That
well,
made me laugh more than you guys. I'm so
no.
sorry.
I was laughing a lot.
I don't
Cam,
get it.
Cam, do you want to give us the recap?
Yeah, so Seth has Fight Club, Drive, Django, The Departed, The Dark Knight Rises. George has Taxi Driver, The Dark Knight, The Social Network, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Prisoners. Tyler has American Psycho, Inception, Inglourious Bastards, Zodiac, and The Goodfellas. Cam, me, great, has Interstellar, The Wolf of Wall Street, 7, Pulp Fiction, and Who's Nailin Palin. Which I'm telling you, man, the film bros, they're all over it, I'm sure.
I don't understand.
I sent you a
Just Google
link,
it
Seth.
after. Oh,
I sent you a
God.
link.
Don't open it
But-
during the podcast.
So the wild card I wanted was George Carmi. That was gonna be my winner.
He is very I get it.
That's a film bro right there.
That is a film, bro.
That's a film bro / you knowing that George gets the most votes and always wins. So by you putting George in your lineup, you're hoping that someone
People
might be
will
like, "Oh,
see your
George."
name.
And what I should have said was like George Carmi's like TikTok videos or something, like because it's directed by him.
Oh,
I'm
that's
so
nice.
sorry. I'm so sorry for what I've done to everyone.
Well, that was fun. We got messed up. I missed a Fincher, but we got it all squared away, and Cam went off the rails with some NC-17 rated content. But that pretty much does it for this week's episode. Packed show. We're almost at about 2 hours here. One thing we might
got
be
longer every time.
Yeah, I mean, people freaking love that, so I guess
I know.
props to us. So if you did enjoy this episode and appreciate us going longer, please give us a rating wherever you're listening to us. If you're on YouTube, give us that subscribe, like, and comment. It really helps more than you know. And on Apple and Spotify, you can rate us 5 stars. Again, huge for us. And then this wraps up episode 4. So we've been switching hosts every time. We had George host episode 1, then we had Cam, Seth, and myself. Let us know if you like this style of switching hosts. Do you want us to stick with one going forward? You kind of enjoy the different flavors each week. Kind of give us some feedback there in the comments as well. And then just some more clerical work before we finish up here. We're interested in getting out some merch, as well as maybe even a Patreon in the future. That might include Q&A sessions, group Zoom meetings where we can all kind of hang out, group movie watches where we can all kind of have like a group movie night. If you're interested in something like that, please let us know down below, and let us know some other things you'd like to see from a Patreon. And then, hey, maybe if you all love these longer episodes, maybe we'll try to shoot for longer episodes if we hit a certain goal on Patreon or something like that. But anyways, that does it for episode 4. Thank you all for listening, watching. Go ahead, Cam.
Vote on Twitter for the
Yes.
poll.
Yeah,
George
Twitter.
Carmi is 2-0 because people love him. But
Ken,
vote on
you
Twitter.
cannot be mad about losing this week when your 5th pick was what it was.
Yeah, I agree. But like last week, we put a story out. Everyone said like my villains won, but no one voted for me. So can you go
Yeah,
to Twitter
I feel like
and
the
actually
YouTube
vote, please?
Yeah, the
ReelTok
YouTube comments
podcast.
seem to be overwhelming not overwhelming, but there's a lot of comments from me in the YouTube comments. So if you want to get your vote in, Twitter is where it is.
Twitter.
George is 2-0. He's got Elon Musk and all
We're
the
gonna have an
Twitter.
award show at the end of the year, so this is important.
True, we will be. But
Please vote on what you actually think wins.
yes, the most
please,
broiest
me.
film bro movies.
Me.
But that does it for this week. Next week we'll be talking about Amsterdam. We might do a director battle gauntlet. We've been floating that idea around, like Christopher Nolan versus David Fincher. Whoever wins that matchup moves on to the next one to face off against Tarantino or Kubrick or whatever. So let us know if that's something interesting to you. But there we go. That's everything. Any last words from you fellas?
I'm so sorry, Mom.
And on that, we will end this episode. Thank you all for listening.